So tonight, we're going to do the KLCC revision of Battle Royale. Truth to be told, we have done the KLCC Battle Royale actually last year. In fact, same month. So this year, we are doing a revision of Battle Royale based on 8 filter, right? So I think you will find that the result from 8 filter will be quite interesting. And the things in KLCC pun dah bertukar, right? Things have changed, right? So the other additional thing that we're going to do tonight is that we're going to review a sales pitch by an agency, whether we see whether there's any misrepresentation or not. So after this session, maybe lah, there going to be some guys really looking forward to punch me in the face. I like to see people try lah, basically, right? So without further delay, let's quickly start. I'll do the introduction before I hand over the floor to my team. I'm hoping that the KLCC presentation we can wrap within 20 minutes, and then after that we go through the developments, and then hopefully by 12 we can end. Yeah. So with that, I think we can project the slides. Go. Buatan orang, tidak. Bukan feminis. Feminis sembang je kuat je, tak adanya berani nak buat apa-apa. Don't worry, right? So guys, this is a KLCC Battle Royale, right? KLCC Battle Royale. As usual, in all of our Battle Royale and Deal or Grill, all right, we have panel guests. So I think before we mulakan, I want to introduce all of our panel guests tonight, right? So if the panel guest is here, can you open your camera and come and say hi, right? You know, to our audience as of today. So you know, we've got the usual one and only Mr. Sean Ihan, right? I've got William, I got Zachary, right? I got LB. I also don't know whether we have Azrin or not for tonight, right? So last year kita buat, I think kita ada 4 panel guest. So this year kita ada Azrin tak datang malam ni. So LB is the only lady, is it?
Yeah, she's going back Sabah for her grandma just passed away this evening.
I see. Condolences, innalillahi lah rajiun. So guys, macam biasa, we have our esteemed panelists here. So tonight we're going to review a lot of new developments in KLCC and also KLCC Pretender. So that means properties that is being marketed as KLCC, but actually not really KLCC. Right? So first, macam biasa, kita akan review the map, definition of KLCC. Let's see whether we have changed it or not. And the reality is that we haven't. And then after that, we're going to talk about the data and the numbers, which is the most important that you all need to know when it comes to KLCC. And then after that, we're going to have, I think, 7 to 8 developments tonight, Zach, NLB, that we're going to be reviewing tonight using our latest 8 filter. Guys, please give our panelists a round of applause, you know, and if you guys want to say hi, please do. No, Sean, William, Zach, and LB, right? So for joining us tonight.
So you didn't damage anything. You didn't wear. You didn't when you fall, right? The only thing is, please don't damage any watches.
Well, I was showering. I wasn't wearing any watches, so I think it's good lah, right? So yeah, thank goodness
Is that 016 on your wrist now?
Yes. Same as Mr. Beast. Yeah. The ugliest RM.
Yes.
Right? So a lot of people say is the ugliest RM. I like it because it's thin and obviously cheapest lah. So again lah, buy below median shit lah.
Entry one.
So you know, if you are wearing a RM16, you clearly don't have enough money to go and buy a Baba or you know the rest of the RM lah, basically. Right? So yeah, I thought about this because I saw Mr. Beast poster today wearing the exact same watch. So I thought, yeah. So okay, again, welcome, Sean, William, Zach, LB, for tonight. So we're gonna do the presentation. LB and Zach is gonna do a presentation for KLCC, and then after that we're gonna review based on the 8 filter, and after that we're gonna bring the panelists to go and review you know, what has been said tonight and share their POV, and then after that we're going to move to the Q&A. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have any question pertaining the presentation tonight, pertaining anything in KLCC, please put it in the Q&A so that we can sequence your question properly. Then we can answer all of the questions, inshallah, before we end tonight. Okay, is that all right, guys? So don't put it in chat, guys. We put it in the Q&A. So with that, very quickly, let's go through why we are doing this. I'll do the introduction before I hand over the floor to LB and Zach. Okay. So we did Battle Royale to give you guys an insight in terms of what is it that you are buying in that particular area, right? So we have done 11 now. So again, KLCC is something that we have done exactly 1 year ago, but given the plethora of new launches and interesting updates in KLCC, we thought KLCC deserved, right, to do a updated version of Battle Royale. Number one. Number two here is that we've also launched our latest 8 filter. Last year, we did 7 criteria to review KLCC. Today, we're going to use 8 filter. All right, so it's going to be a lot more accurate, right? It's going to be a lot more accurate, right? So these are all the previous Battle Royale punya episode. So next slide, please. Right? So if you want to watch the previous Battle Royale punya episode, please go to Faizul Ridzuan punya YouTube channel. We've also done Deal or Grill. We've reviewed like more than, I think, as of today, close to 50 properties. So again, if you go to Faizul Ridzuan punya YouTube channel, you're going to be able to go and see, the properties that we have reviewed in the past. So again, key thing here is that go to Faizul Ridzuan YouTube channel. Again, just to give you guys a heads up, the tonight session when it comes to KLCC Battle Royale is not going to be detailed as per last year. Last year there was overview, there was history, right? So please go and watch it if you want to have the full overview. This year again is more of the updated version of KLCC. Yeah, latest numbers, latest data. Okay, so in order to cut short a little bit, right, in terms of the time that's going to be used. Yeah. So next slide, please. Right. So again, go to our YouTube channel, Faizul Ridzuan, right? So if you want to watch the rest of it. So again, this is all free, a lot of golden nuggets. Next slide, please. Okay. Again, just go to our YouTube channel and then register if you want to follow all of our webinars. Next. Okay. So why are we doing this? Again, we have done 7 criteria last year, based on the property that was available in KLCC. So this year we're going to use 8 filter. So 8 filter is a lot more accurate. You're going to be able to go and see which property to buy, which property to avoid, right? So again, the whole idea of doing a Battle Royale is to give you an independent guide when it comes to buying things in KLCC, give you full information so that you understand the full POV, provide shortcuts for people who are looking to buy property here, demonstrate how to use data to actually avoid buying the wrong property. And again, this is going to be one of the things whereby a lot of people will not like us, especially property developers and their agents, because we're going to tell the truth, right? So a lot of things that we're going to share tonight is going to be very unpopular, right? So next, what can you expect to learn tonight, right? What can you expect to learn tonight, right? Again, how to use 8 filter to go and see which property to buy, which property to avoid. You're also going to know which one is the real KLCC versus pretender KLCC. You're also going to know what will make a difference in the KLCC area, because to be honest, every single property today is marketed the same way, right? So you're going to be able to go and see what will make the difference. And then we're going to look at all of the properties currently being sold in KLCC area and review them based on our ratings. So that again, you will know which to avoid, which one to consider. And last but not least, we found an interesting presentation that we thought, I think would be good, for us to go and highlight, right? The inaccuracy, or long story short, the lies being told to sell properties in KLCC today. So again, you're going to learn a lot of things tonight, right? So if you observe what we are teaching you tonight, inshallah, you will never be subjected to you kena scam buying the wrong property in KLCC, right? So this is what you're going to get learning tonight. Okay, next. Right, so again, these are just disclaimer. You might not agree with what we say. It doesn't matter. The key thing that you have to understand today here is that there's the actual KLCC, there's a pretender KLCC, and then there's a branded residence. So these 3 things you have to understand, because when it comes to KLCC, actual KLCC has got different price point compared to pretender KLCC. Okay, and then there's a branded residence element whereby it commands a certain level of premium. Okay, so again, the other thing about KLCC is doing quite well as of today. We think it's going to be even better once HSR is announced and hopefully completed lah in the next maybe 8 to 9 years from now. Okay, so this is the disclaimer lah. Yeah, this is true as of today, as of July 2025. Next. Okay, so KLCC is very interesting because as of today, KLCC is the cheapest capital property that you can buy in all of Asia, right? So we don't have to compare Singapore, Hong Kong, because clearly we're going to be cheaper. Look, we even cheaper compared to Manila. We are even cheaper compared to Vietnam. We are even cheaper compared to even Myanmar, right? So long story short, these countries are less developed compared to Kuala Lumpur, the capital, but they are more expensive. So today, Kuala Lumpur represents an excellent value for money, cheapest one you can buy in Asia. It also has got one of the best rental yield today in the whole of Asia, right? If you buy wrong property, you're going to get 3 to 4%. You buy the right property, you can get 6, 7, even 8%. And I'm talking about long-term rental, not short-term rental. Okay, next. Okay, so we've launched the 8 property filters. So again, I think my team tonight will compile all of the links of the relevant webinar that you should be looking, right? So we're not going to go through everything tonight. Again, in the interest of time, can we move to the next slide, right? So basically, the 8 property filters is designed to allow you to find the best possible property. So if your property, long story short, right? If your property, you want to make money from capital gain, you have to look at the capital gain rating from the 8 property filter. If you want to get positive cash flow, you have to find property that can give you 4-star and above cash flow from the 8 property filter. Because if you look at the properties that we have bought in the past, you've seen some of our property, our worst performance is 6%. That's the worst performance. Best one, we can get close to about 11%, right? So close to 11% rental yield. And again, I guess I want to remind everyone, this is not a Airbnb or short-term rental rate. This is long-term rental rate, not co-living, not short-term. So why a filter is important? If you observe, you follow, you're going to find good properties that will give you above 6%, 7, 8, in this particular case, even 11% rental yield property, right? If you don't observe, you're going to get 3 to 4% buying something in KLCC, right? That's the importance of you understanding the 8 property filter. Again, my team has actually put the link, right, at the chat, so you can review, because again, we don't have time. Please go and watch the full 8 property filter video if you want to fully understand why is it important. Why when you deploy 8 property filter, you're going to get a much better result compared to you not deploying. Okay. So again, these are all our real past performance, including the one in Bukit Bintang, whereby, and KLCC vicinity, whereby we're getting close to 11%. Again, non-Airbnb, not short-term rental. We're talking about minimum 1 year rental here, because if you use short-term rental, we get 15%. Okay, that's how powerful, how relevant, how important the 8 property filter is. Okay, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Right, so next slide. I think we can skip this. So again, we used to use 7 criteria. Today we use 8 property filter. So the 8 property filter today using 31 criteria. So it's a lot more detailed, it's a lot more in-depth, which is why it's a lot more accurate. Next. Right. So can we move to the last slide of the 8 property filter? So again, if you want to go and watch, you want to fully understand, you don't want to get a scam into buying the wrong property, please go and watch the full video of 8 property filter. Right. So again, this is the final rating. If you are looking for capital gain, you have to find property that is rated as 4-star and above, guys, to make money from capital gain. Right? If you want to get positive cash flow, again, you have to find property that is rated as 4-star and above, right? For cash flow. Right? 3-star means you break even, you do lose money. 1-star, 2-star means on both, gonna lose money. It's gonna be either negative cash flow or when you sell the property, you're gonna lose money. Okay? So again, that's the long story short lah. So again, tonight, we're gonna review all of the KLCC based property on your behalf. So you will know already which property to consider and which property you should completely avoid. Right? So again, developers will not like this, right? I have a feeling if they can punch me in my face, they would, right? Unfortunately, the rule of law kat Malaysia is actually quite strong lah. So you know, I'm good lah, right? We're good. Next, right? So again, these are the 8 property filter. There's price, booster, supply and demand, how many rental options available, cash flow, what is the unique selling point, and what is the return on capital on both capital gain and cash flow. Last but not least, how easy it is for you to go and exit. So again, it's quite comprehensive. There's 31 criteria there in this 8 property filter. You can go and watch the full video so that you can fully understand, right? Why is it important to go and use this? Okay. So next slide, please. Okay, the link is there, so you know where to find it. All right. So very quickly, before I hand over the floor to my team, so I'm just going to do a quick overview of what is tier 1 and its definition. So in Klang Valley, you've got tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3, right? So if you are a foreigner, especially, and you are non-Malaysian looking to buy, guys, I'm going to give you a pro tip. Please skip tier 2, tier 3. Never buy anything in tier 2, tier 3. You should only focus on tier 1 because tier 1 are international area whereby there are many expats. Okay, and these are the definition or the criteria and indicator that makes the area either tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3. Okay, so the most important one is that there's mixed residents, so that means there's local, there's international community too. And I'm talking about the highly paid international community, not the lowly paid construction worker or restaurant worker, right? Rental rate above 5,000 is very normal in tier 1, and most of the new launch in tier 1 are above 1,000 ringgit per square foot. So these are all guides and indicator. Okay, so if you're wondering which areas of today in KL is part of tier 1, next slide please, right? These are the areas of tier 1. So we've got the OG, right, which is the Mont Kiara, the Hartamas, Damansara Heights, KLCC, which tonight's discussion, Bukit Bintang, KL Central, Mid Valley, Jalan Ampang, Kenny Hills, and Bangsa. These are all part of the old tier 1, right? So been tier 1 for the last 10, 23 years, right? Then you got new tier 1s that has become part of tier 1 in the last 10 years. So you got your TRX, which is today officially part of tier 1. And then you got your Bangsa South, right? And then you got your Dutamas, and then you got Desa Park City. These are all new entries part of tier 1 in KL. Okay. So with that, okay, very quickly, I'm gonna hand over the floor to my team. So who's presenting? Zakri ke Albi? So if you are talking, you are on mute.
Go first. So I'll go with the definition of the KLCC border. So we actually defined this last year, so we did not change, or maybe we still follow what we said. I mean, what we feel about how KLCC should be like the borderline, because there has been different areas or intersection. The Jalan Ampang is so long up to Selangor. So this is the definition of KLCC border that we have declared. So it's based on the Akre, the Jalan Tun Raza, Jalan Tun Sultan Ismail, and also Raja Chulan that split over our KL CC area, our city center area, and the Bukit Bintang area. Okay, so in KLCC, as per today, there's a lot of pretenders or property or development that actually hyping on this KLCC name. So they might just be in like Kampong Baru, Raja Uda area, or Kampong Baru area that call as KLCC. So there are some example that we actually plotted on. So which you guys can have a look. So nearby to even Jalan Tun Razak, okay, the Intermark area, they also will call it this KLCC, but in truth, but it doesn't fall in our context of the discussions, because KLCC, as we know in our past history, is more on the government-oriented master plan. So with the oil and gas pumping into offices and the demand over this area, and the other part is probably the tourism area. So KLCC has actually growth from nothing as an empty land to what it is today. So I think at the end of this month, there will be KLCC 2 as upcoming, is about to complete. So let's see how is it, will it become an upcoming booster to this KLCC that seems to be quite matured today. So there's a pretenders for along, even when you type on the Googles looking for it for Airbnbs, you know, people will just put KLCC, but in actual, you are not exactly in the location of KLCC. But there's a tricks for people to attract tourism who are not really familiar to this area. So this is just some example of ads going on. So in this list, we actually listed out as per today all the high rises available in this city center, I mean, specifically. So I think I listed most of it, probably 90%. If I miss out, I'm very sorry. So this is part of the list that we will discuss. The full details of the rental yield part and transaction we'll check on later on. So about the transactions, I think I'll pass to Zachary to talk about the transaction of the area.
All right. Thank you so much, Alvi. Good evening, everyone. Zachary here. So I'll continue on the transaction part. So for transaction, we separated into two big categories. One is based on the branded versus non-branded residents. So we're gonna look at on the branded residents at the end. But this one is I'm gonna go through on the non-branded residents first on the KLCC area, right? Also we divided into sizes due to many layouts, and sizes is available in the KLCC market today lah, right? So we divided into three categories. So the first one that we can see here is whatever sizing 700 square feet and below, right? So we have here the first subgroup. As we can see, most of the small layout is coming from Summer Suite side, Star Residence, where Escort is located at. Sky Suites also right, and on the right side, and also other developments in the area lah, right? And there are also small sizes up to 2-bedder layout. As we can see now, the new and old average layout size about 600 square feet plus, right? So roughly in conclusion for this category of layout, which new, those completed in year 2019 and after lah, right? Median transaction roughly about 1,736 ringgit PSF, and all are roughly about 1,225 but close to 1,230, roughly about 5% plus increment in comparison to last year punya transaction, right? Yeah, so that's about the 700 square feet and below. Next slide. So this is layout sizing between 700 to 1,002 square feet, considered the mid-range size of layout lah, right? Which mainly is about 1-bedder up to 3-bedder layout, right? So for 1-bedder is roughly about 1,005 for new, and old about 1,000, close to 1,002 PSF, right? For 2-bedder is not too far, still within the range, roughly about 1,570 ringgit PSF, and old roughly about 1,001 plus PSF still. Which the highest transaction is coming from for 2-bedder is coming from Star Residence, is up to 1,900, right? And 3-bedder is about, on the right side, 3-bedder is about 1,400 ringgit PSF, and O roughly about 1,000, close to 1,001 ringgit, 1,100 ringgit PSF lah, right? And again, in compared to last year, roughly about 5 to 10% increment of value transacted lah, right? For this particular segment, right? And next slide. So next is those on the big size range, 1,002 to 2,000 square feet. So new median roughly about, in conclusion, new median roughly about 1,440, and O roughly about 930 ringgit PSF lah, right? In comparison to last year, yes, this one is one of the most significant increment the rental value based on last year, right? So this is based on the non-branded residents. If based on branded resident, next slide. All right, sorry. So based on branded resident, we can see here. So those branded are those we considered upper 4-star hotel and also 5-star hotel that attached together with the residential, right? Luxury residential. Those are the Rumah, Bayan 3, Four Season, Ritz-Carlton resident, those in Jalan Nampang, and together with Tropicana, the residents lah, right? So we can see here the 1-bedder, 2-bedder, and 3-bedder punya layout dekat sana. Roughly, in conclusion, the median roughly about 2,395, close to 2,400 ringgit PSF as of today lah, right? That's roughly about asking today, roughly about from 2,600 ringgit PSF for the asking sale as of today, in this branded resident segment in KLCC area, especially for those in Four Season side. But those are the big sizes segment, right? So you can see the average, the median range for this branded median roughly about 3.9 million, close to 4 million, right? On the absolute comparison. In comparison, you can go to downside, other KLCC median. In overall, you can see roughly about 1,007 PSF as of today. For older development, roughly about 1,001 PSF as of today lah. Again, in comparison to last year, roughly about 5 to 10% increment in value transacted in KLCC area, right? So yep. Next slide. Yeah, so I think I pass back the floor to LB to continue on Airbnb.
So actually last year we presented the rental part, but today due to time constraint and actually because today topic is more of the upcoming launches that everyone was rushing for this Airbnb market. So we'll focus on Airbnb study as per today. But I did the study, to be honest, for the rental yield, but the boss said if we presented the rental yield, I think it's take another 30 minutes like last year.
Okay
So
lah,
I can just
give a summary if you want to, LB, since you have done it. So you can give people a summary. Would you guys like a summary or not of the rental yield dekat KLCC?
kena tunjuk kerja sikit. Sudah
Did
buat.
homework already, masa people present mah.
You say already, macam bos kau tak bagi kau present pula kan. Nak kau present lah. Okay. A lot of people are saying yes to LB. So how? Rental yield. Give them a lowdown of the summary.
We can go back the one slide backwards. I already unhyped for you.
Okay. This is just part and parcel. Okay, so actually in KLCC we talk about road, right? So we talk about the we have different popular routes and they depending on Yap Kwan Sing is famous for Airbnb. Then if like P Ramlee, Ampang area is more towards the officer side. Then Binjai, KLCC is and Stornor is more towards the backwards where they have a lot of last a property that come with big sizes, and Stornor Kaping is more towards the Bukit Bintang area already. So of course there's like different sizes as comparable. So on average, the rental demand actually in the area have actually rises in terms of their rental. So almost like 80% of all the development that I did last year, and I do a rental revise this year according to the new rental agreement and also the asking data in the area, is they basically rises at least 100 to 300 or 400 ringgit per room. Per unit for the development. Some even rises close to 600-700, for example, the Rumah. That's why the yield for it also rises. Actually, from last year, the new yield of KLCC was about 4.61%. This year's rises at least 0.2%, because as we know, maybe when we talk about KLCC last time, it's not that performing as expected in a tier 1 kind of concept, but at least it's improving because of our new launches in the area that was pulling up the price. And also not only about the rental, is the price on asking also, especially if you wanted to enter the market, because we have so much of new launches that's selling so high of per square feet, right? So average everyone also, trying to sell their property at a higher price point. That's why you see the transacted price will actually also increases about 5% at least. So in terms of the old property in the area also have, overall increment of their rental yield about 4.61%. So I can see, KLCC area as per today, the rental demand is also rises, and as per for their asking, prices per square feet also rises slightly, I would say. For the area, it's not that bad lah. Last year we talked about KLCC probably is the worst performing tier 1's past 20 years, but today there's so much of new launches rushing in to see, the potential of this area. So we can see that KLCC actually have some improvement rather than saying they are stagnant lah. Okay, so that's about the rental yield update. Then we go to Airbnb, because Airbnb is what we are concerning today. Everyone in the area launchings is targeting about selling you RI 9 to 10%, then conversions, then we'll tell you, hey, your branded residence, W Hotel Tropicana per night is 500. With 400 also can doable, all this kind of story. So let's see how actually the Airbnb market is in our KLCC. So I actually have segregated into different areas. So that's part of like the overall KLCC performance and the popular site, which is the Kwan area, and the branded residents, how much they can fetch for this Airbnb market. So this is Airbnb mapping in the city center as compared to last year. Actually, the purple dots actually increases quite a lot lah. Okay, so this is on the average. So if you can see, I have scratched 1 bedroom to 2 bedroom because this is probably the most popular layout and sizes and can fetch a higher per square foot. And also because today all the new launches is all small size, studio, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom maximum. Okay, so if you talk about on average size of this KLCC area, their average occupancy falls under about at least about 50%. Currently is about 60 to 70%. So their per room rate, depending on sizes, of course. Some size like Platinums, their 1 bedroom is about 880 square feet. So it's actually relatively big sizes. So we cannot compare this 1 bedroom 850 square feet to, like, example, Scarlett's, which is about 450 square feet, which is like half of the sizes. So today we are just talking purely based on the average room, average daily rate, and also the room, how many packs of the number that the room can accommodate. So, okay, for example, Platinum's suites, the size is super big. So actually they can put up 2 double bedroom. Hence, this is why there's 4 persons. So this is how we look on the average of this KLCC that we have collected. So from here, actually, I show what's the reason I show the availability, because of course, I want to show out that all the data taken here today is minimum 300. From 300, they have been advertising and operating at least 300 days onwards lah in the market. So I think it's quite fair, because if not, later I bring up a data about the operators only operate about 150 days. It's not fair, right? To show, it doesn't reflect the true value of the markets. So on average, you can see per bedroom, you can fetch a higher occupancy, but of course, it's just about price war. They can be as low as 160 per night. Okay, it can be, if you're having a premium luxury suites, Platinum big size, it can fetch up 300 for just 1 bedroom. But because you can see it's actually accommodate 4 persons. So average, if you talk about 1 bedroom for 2 person, is about 200 per night lah. So average occupancy is about 60 to 70%. So for 2 bedder, it can go up to about 400 to 500 per night, okay, depending on the size. So actually, this is all featuring slightly bigger in sizes, about at least about 800 to 1,000 square feet for all these 2 bedroom. Okay, so that's for our average on the markets for KLCC Airbnb. So on the next slide is our famous Yap Kwan Sing Airbnb markets performance. So for this area, I would say their average falls is about 70% up to 90%. Okay, on average is about 80 lah. Okay, if you bring about the lowest occupancy and the highest occupancy, average about 80%. So for this area, because there is so many supplies, that's why you can see the 2-bedroom, you know, it doesn't go as high because the size of the room is actually smaller. It's about 600, 700 square feet. It's not those big size compared to the other area of KLCC. Hence, you can see the occupancy is higher. The rates is actually about 350, close to 380. Highest can be about 400 average per room. It's not talking about just the peak lah. It's just the average daily rate they have been operating. So for one room, because this is the advertising for the best view, vicinity walking distance. So their 1-bedroom average in the market is about 250 to 300. Okay, so there are some who throw the price probably for about 220 or 200 lah for this area. So this area you can see as compared to the other area of KLCC, their average occupancy I would say is probably the highest and the best performance lah. I mean the best performing road, you know, in this KLCC, because you are just one street down away towards the tourist attraction area, which is the Petronas Twin Tower. Okay, so the other side would be branded residence performance in the Airbnb markets. So it can, their average occupancy, you know, average down is about 30%. They can be very, the highest is about 60 or 50 only. Okay, it won't go higher than that because their average daily rate per night is quite high. It's about, can be 600 up to 1,005. So Tropicana is where the W Hotel is. Yaju is the operator. So this is how the rate is for this kind of branded residence. So Banyan is over the Bukit Bintang side lah. So if let's say, because why we present this branded residence, right? Because they are part of parcel of the component is being sold out, you know, it's not the hotel suite. So still there's like open market for people to buy in and they can still operate for this Airbnb market. Hence, this is the branded residence Airbnb market. So when people trying to sell us that, okay, we are our comparable is those branded residents, we sort of have to study whether in the whole KLCC markets, if you are a non-branded residents, how much is the price daily rate looks like. If you are really having a branded residence, I mean branded operator that operate your unit, what kind of revenue profit you expect and what is the occupancy, because of course those branded residents, they have their price point, minimum price daily rate for it to enter. So it will be lower in occupancy, but in return maybe the revenue would look slightly higher because this is still a branded resident. The specialty of branded resident or branded operator is their connections, to be honest. They have connection to bring out all this business suites, for this group of people in their residence. That's their specialty. So if let's say all the upcoming new launches in the area was rushing for these Airbnb markets, if they are projecting in a certain number, the question is, are we really able to fetch the number? So this is why we do a rematch of KLCC today, because there's so many new launches and the density of the property is not like 500, 600, it's like 1,000, 2,000 units. So it's considered a slightly high density kind of development, and the number of upcoming new launches all is focusing on small units. Hence, it will affecting on this size for all 1 to 2 bedroom in the market for the Airbnb. So this is why we conducted the study from average to the popular area and to these branded residents, just to give all of you a guidance. Okay, what is the thing that you might have to expect, you know, your due diligence study for the area for Airbnb market. It doesn't that everyone tell, hey, the Airbnb in the market is doing so good, you know, so you can fetch a higher rental. But indeed, when there's so many upcoming supply, is it something that's going to happen? So, and also the location, are you at the really close towards the tourist attraction or you are further away? And what is your connectivity towards this RT access for this area if you are not targeting for Airbnb market?
Okay, guys. So I'm just gonna chip in a little bit, right? So go back to the previous slide, Albi, please. right? So I think it's very important for you guys to understand what's the reality, right? Because today, except for developments that clearly say cannot do Airbnb or short-term stay, majority of the developers and their agents are using Airbnb as a selling point, right? And when they use Airbnb as a selling point, they're not telling you that this place is going to have a 15% occupancy rate. It's not going to tell you it's going to be a 30% occupancy rate. A lot of them are assuming it's a 70 all the way to about 90% occupancy rate. That's why we have to put this number here for you guys to go and see. If we go and tell you the average occupancy rate in KLCC, 50 to 60%, you also won't believe. So, which is why we put the screenshot proper, right? So that you can really see, despite the nice unit and all of that, right? It's not as rosy as what these agents are trying to sell, right? There are very little properties, exact units out there in KLCC as of today, number one, that will have above 400 ringgit per night occupancy rate, daily rate. Number two, there are going to be very little, I would say less than 20% of the developments as of today in Twin Towers, KLCC area, that has gotten above 70% occupancy rate on a month-to-month basis. Okay, so guys, you have to be smarter, right? When you look at developments, the last thing you want to look is actually at the Airbnb numbers or the projection, right? Because these numbers and this projection, if you ask me, are just marketing selling points, right? So what is going to be more meaningful is that when you are looking at KLCC place, right, you have to look what is the long-term rental. So this is the way you play it safe in KLCC, right? So remember this properly, guys. Long-term rental can sustain. When you do Airbnb, you make even more. Does that make sense? You can already get break even on long-term rental. Then you decided to go do Airbnb because you want to make more. You don't do Airbnb as a means to break even, you know. That's a lousy strategy when it comes to investing in properties anywhere. You know, Sean always say this, right? Anything you do Airbnb also can be positive cash flow lah. It's just you masking, right? A lousy property. And today, majority of the property in the KLCC, actual KLCC and its pretender are all using Airbnb and short stay as a means to sell this property. Because they already know already. There is no way they can convince you to buy if you look at the long-term rental. Okay? You guys understand, right? Which is why we have to showcase all this proof lah. There's a couple of things. Number one, there's a big difference between occupancy rate of small units versus larger units, the 2-bedroom and above. Small unit, great location, tends to do quite well, especially if it's quite new. Right? But you are looking at a rental rate of below 300 ringgit per night lah, if you're talking about your 1-bedroom, right? Or studio unit. Betul lah, LB? Below 300 ringgit. Because at above 300 ringgit, you can stay in a 5-star hotel in KLCC. Easily, you can find the older hotels at 400 ringgit. Right? And then when you look at the branded residents, you will find out that their occupancy rate is actually quite bad. Very few units can do above 60% occupancy rate. But their nightly rates are very high. Closer to about 1,000, right? And some units can get all the way to even 1,005. Because why? It's branded. So when we say it's branded, guys, because there's questions here, right? How do we define branded and non-branded, right? Is international chain branded either attached to that building or next to it? That's how we define as branded. So Four Seasons, branded. Okay. Four Seasons, branded. This one, Tropicana Residences, is next to W Hotel. So it's being deemed as branded because why? It's got W next to it. If you are talking about new under construction, it's going to be Sofitel next. And then obviously you got the OG of Ritz-Carlton residence. So these are all branded, means it's international. So all these local Airbnb play are not branded. All right. I'm not dissing them, but they are just not branded. They cannot command a 600 ringgit per night kind of like rental because they're not branded. They're not international player. Right? Because why? If you pay 800 ringgit and you stay in Tropicana residence and people ask you where do you stay, I stay next to W. And for 800 ringgit, it's considered as cheap lah. Right? And branded got two type lah. One I would consider as the 5-star proper international brand, and then one more is a 4-star. So your Escort, in my opinion, is like a 4-star branded residence. 4 season, 5-star. No one can tell me Escort and 4 season same 5-star. Tak boleh lah. The world doesn't operate that way, guys. For Escort is not 4 seasons. Even Escort will tell you they're not 4 seasons. Does that make sense, everyone? So Escort belongs to Escort, right? So the category, they are pretty good brand. They are going to be better than your local place of, you know, all these, local players of Airbnb lah. They're going to do better. But they cannot do as well as 4 Seasons or W or Ritz. Is that fair to say, guys? They're going to lose out to Sofitel. Okay. So the other, for example, branded player is going to be Wyndham. Wyndham to me is the same category as Escort. They are not at the level of 4 Seasons. But are they international brand? Yes. Right? If you stay in Escort Singapore, Escort Jakarta, you can estimate what you're going to get by staying in Escort Kuala Lumpur. It's predictable. So these are what I call branded residences. Okay? You guys understand why we have to highlight and showcase, why we spend the time. We're not going to repeat what we have said in the past Battle Royale KLCC last year. Go and watch the video if you want to. Today is more updated version, right? So the rental has gone up, right? Even on a long-term rental basis in KLCC area. So yields has basically gone up compared to last year. Good sign. Okay. But my next slide, I guess, is the most important slide tonight. Okay. Which is the summary. Okay. If there's one slide you have to screen capture, this one. Okay. Guys, for units below 700 square foot sizes, okay, average price for new is about 1,007. Average price for older units is about 1,200 ringgit per square foot. You're looking to buy old property, don't pay above 1,002. Because that means you are going to overpay. If you're going to buy new, you don't pay above 1,750 ringgit per square foot. Okay, we have already done the work for you. You just follow. You pay anything above this amount, you overpay. You pay under, you underpay. You pay somewhere in between, okay lah, fair price for a newer property, still okay. Okay, now if it's 1,700 to 1,200 square foot, your price point will be cheaper. New developments 1,005 per square foot. Average median transacted today. Older one closer to about 1,001. And if you're looking above 1,200 square foot in size, older one is below 1,000 per square foot, newer one's about 1,004. So long story short, the larger the size, the cheaper it is per square foot. So far follow, guys? Right, now, here's where it gets very interesting. Branded residence, old or new as of today, average today is 2,400 ringgit per square foot. Right? Branded is 2,004. So tak sama guys. Branded and non-branded. So all your local Airbnb players, their property cannot be 2,004 per square foot. As of today, average on above 2,000 ringgit per square foot, you should only pay for branded residences. So I'm going to give you the biggest hint for tonight. If you're going to pay above 2,000 ringgit per square foot in KLCC proper, you better damn make sure that you've got a branded residence nearby within that development. Otherwise, your risk is very high because median-wise is 1,007 for non-branded. Okay? Beautiful, right? Battle Royale. Everything is dissected clearly for you. One slide. Okay. Now, Airbnb occupancy rate for KLCC proper is 60 to 80%. One bedroom is 200 to 350 ringgit per night sahaja. Two bedroom 280 to 460. Okay. Don't let anyone bullshit you telling you can get 85 to 90. Okay. You confirm kena scam. Okay. Now, for KLCC pretender, which is outside of the proper KLCC border that we have defined, look, it's not so bad, right? The rental difference is roughly 15 to about 20% saja. So, again, you might find better deals in KLCC pretender than the actual KLCC itself. But we still have to call them pretender, right? This is Battle Royale. Anything got Faizul, Far Capital, Sean, we don't bullshit, we don't make up story just to tell you this property good, this property bad because we like the property, right? We buy in proper KLCC, we also buy pretender. At the right price, we buy anything, guys. Okay? We don't have a preference. Okay? We don't diss areas, right? The only thing we don't like is people try to sell KLCC pretender at KLCC price point. That one outright scam. We tell you lah. Okay, so for pretender, the occupancy rate is slightly below compared to the actual KLCC, again, because location-wise, a bit outside, right? 50 to 70% occupancy, 170 to 230 rental per night. Two bedroom, 250 to about 400 ringgit per night. Okay, now for branded residents, occupancy rate is actually very low. Average is 35% saja. But their overall nightly rate is very high. Is double, triple, quadruple compared to your non-branded property. So that means, guys, one night in your branded residence, okay, is equivalent to 3 nights of your non-branded option. Okay, your 35% occupancy rate could give you better return every month, gross collection, compared to 100% occupancy of your non-branded residence. So that's the power of having branded residence. They have to sell it at a more premium. They are not going to compete with you Airbnb fellas lah, with 20 units. Okay. Now, here's what none of the agents and developers will tell you. Okay. What is already been approved from a supplier punya POV as of today, right? New supply already as of today stands at 6,700 units. And this 6,700 is number of units being sold as of today. And many of these units today are part of this thing called the dual key. So the actual number of one bedroom and studio unit coming up in the next 5 years in KLCC will be closer to about 9,000 units. As of today, your supply less than 3,000. So long story short, guys, supply is gonna triple or quadruple in the next 5 to 7 years. Okay. So your high occupancy rate might drop, because why? Supply wise, you're going to be competing, right? You're going to be competing, right, with newer supply. Zach, does this cause it, is Hausen as part of this? Armani?
Hausen
Huh?
is place.
Already, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other one that just pre-launch, just collect interest, is next to Dawn. That one is not included in this number.
Right. So I think we can safely assume lah, right? By end of next year, the overall number of supply, if you include the dual key as 2 units, will be closer to about 10,000. Okay, so you better make sure the property that you buy, if you're going to invest in this area, has got a really proper, strong USP. Okay, very strong USP, which is why as of today, we love branded residents. All right, because there are some people who never stay in Airbnb. They prefer to stay in a hotel. right? Because they've got money lah, and they want to stay in a branded place. So yeah, so we think as of today, if you're gonna buy in KLCC, this area, please make sure that whatever developer that you are buying has got some form of branded residences, right? Because if you look at the supply of branded residences, not a lot, right? It's quite low. Okay, guys. So this is a summary for KLCC. This is the most important slide that no agent will come and tell you. Okay, next. Okay, take it away.
Right. I think I'll continue on this. Okay. So next slide. So this one is those property. Okay. So I think we also review some of these properties that we're gonna go through. I think roughly we have about 10 to 11. Some of them we reviewed in our previous DOG series, or even those that we reviewed last year, Battle Royale, lah, right? So this one is based on the updated latest launch, and some of them really recently launched, lah, right? For the first one is Don KLCC. I'm not going to go through in details this one, right? Don KLCC is the one located off Jalan Nampang, really near to Jalan Nampang and KLCC, right? Next slide. This price starting from roughly about 1,008 today. Last time they were selling as low as 1,007 on the limited units, right? So in terms of property filter, after run through precisely, before anything, you will see most of KLCC property we rated 5-star for booster, the filter number 2, right? We rated 5-star for booster is simply due to KLCC has at least 3 or more booster, hence we give it a 5-star lah, mainly coming from demographic changes, commercial, more offices, and also infra lah, right? For more details, can refer back to our property filter video. What are those, right? So again, most of the property dekat KLCC we rated 5-star for booster lah, right? So the first one for this Don KLCC, price wise we run and turn it to 2.5 star average for price. This one considered comparing because as of today you can see median roughly about 1.7k, right? Supply, booster 5-star, supply versus demand, we consider this development layout is based on the smallest one, the studio one, right? Hence the average roughly about 1.5 star. It's quite a lot of studio supply in KLCC as of today, and also considering the upcoming supply as well, right? MRO is a 3-star, mainly focusing on the short term, medium, and long term rental lah. And rating is different based on the rental segmentation by development lah, right? And cash flow is 4-star and based on long-term rental projection only, right? And again, can watch our 8 property filter webinar edition on YouTube lah, and how we derive this 4-star. Roughly, this one is can give you slightly positive cash flow. 4-star and above should be rated as a good cash flow lah, right? As we put a 4-star cash flow for the particular property, right? USP is a 3-star, more towards the layout and facilities. Return on capital, cash flow is a 3-star. Due to the return on capital on rental is giving slight positive cash flow, and also capital gain ROC is also based on 3-star. MEO, multiple exhaustion, is a 2-star. So for overall rating, for capital gain is a 2.8 star and cash flow is 3.6 star. We would say this is one of the most talked about property in terms of cash flow wise, due to the price is considered good, as well as the location is considered one of the close proximity to KLCC lah, right? So this is Don KLCC. Next property. So next we have Hugo Suites. This one is intersection between Jalan Yap Kwan Sing and also Jalan Tun Razak, right? Pricing roughly from 1,700 ringgit PSF. Okay, so next slide. So price wise, we run and roughly 2.7 star average for price. Again, in comparison to the median 1.7k, right? Supply versus demand based on the smallest layout, hence the average about 1.5 star. Booster just now 5-star. MRO is a 3-star, short term, medium, long term, and also rated differ based on the segmentation as well, right? This is KLCC. Cash flow is based on the 4-star due to the price is okay, and also long term projection, right? Not short term. USP is a 3-star, ROC capital gain 3-star, cash flow 3-star, and multiple exit option we give it a the rating is 2-star lah, right? So for overall rating, roughly about 2.9 star. For capital gain and cash flow rating is considered okay, quite healthy also, about 3.6 star lah, based on whole long-term rental lah. All right. So next property, the third property, which is Kylie's. This one is located at off Jalan Nampang, near Jalan Mayang. Those located at Avenue K side there, right? Roughly priced at 2,000 ringgit PSF. Next slide. So for this one, there will be some of you seeing we rated this property before, and the rating a little bit different due to this particular rating is based on the smallest layout, the studio one at 300 over square feet tu lah, right? Hence the property the one that we rated before is based on the two-bedder, right? So for this one studio, price-wise, we run and turn out based on the A property filter, about 2 star average for price. Again, booster 5 star, supply and demand. Studio, quite a lot in this particular area, especially those KLCC, 1.5 star. MRO is a 3 star. Same short, medium, and long term. Even those agents are focusing more on short terms, right? Cash flow is a 4 star. Still potentially can give a slight positive cash flow based on long term rental, right? USP is a 2 star. On the facilities, it's quite nice, right? And also the layout. Return on capital, 3 star, 2 star. For capital gain, return on capital cash flow is about 3 star, due to the slight positive cash flow punya bit, right? MEO is a 2 star, right? So for overall rating, capital gain rating about 2.4 star. Cash flow rating is about 3.4 star, right? Based on Kylie Suites pricing from 2,000 ringgit PSF, right? On the smaller size. Next slide. On the fourth property, we have here Oxley Towers. So this one is reaching completion already. Jalan Nampang. We would say that gonna be one of the landmarks as well in KL Skyline, right? Pricing roughly from 2,500 ringgit PSF, right? So this one is the one that Faizul mentioned just now. It's gonna be one of the upcoming branded residents to the KLCC area, all right? So next slide. So price, 3 star in comparison to those branded residents median. So just now we can see those branded resident median as of today, roughly about 2,400 ringgit PSF. This one slightly above that price, right? But it's not really a way too high lah in comparison to those branded resident median and as of today, right? And those comparable criteria that we have in pricing is also the absolute comparison, where this one there has got the small units, where when it compares, this is one of the cheapest and best option for branded residents in KLCC area lah, right? Supply booster is 5 star, KLCC supply versus demand is 3 star. We do compare to those branded residents. MRO is about 2.5 star. Cash flow is a 3 star. USP is a 4 star. Due to we believe the facilities is quite great area price wise, and also the layout lah, right? And ROC for capital gain and cash flow is a 3 star. Multiple exit option is a 2 star, right? So for overall rating, we give is a 3.3 star for capital gain rating. For cash flow rating, about 3.5 star lah, right? So this one is for Oxley Towers, one of the upcoming branded residents in KLCC area lah, right? So next property. So this one is Hana Suites, those located off Jalan Ampang, those area Mayang as well, right? Pricing slightly higher compared to Kylie's, right? Coming from the same developer, right? So next slide. So based on the 8 property filter, price-wise is a 2 star. Again, this one is not branded resident. We do compare to the overall KLCC median comparison is about 1.7K today. Booster is 5 star KLCC. Supply versus demand over 1.5 star. We do compare the smaller size. Again, MRO is a 3 star. Cash flow is a 3 star due to the price. USP is a 2 star. ROC capital gain is 2 star. ROC cash flow is a 3 star, and multiple exit option is a 2 star lah, right? And final rating for capital gain is about 2.4 star, and cash flow rating about 3.2 star. All right. Next property. that we have here is Cloud House, right? So this one is located just next to KLCC site, right? Near W Tropicana the residence, right? Pricing roughly about 2,350 ringgit PSF lah for this one. This one is kind of luxury luxury resident concept lah. All right. So located at Jalan Piramli next to KLCC. Next slide. So price wise, we run about 2-star average for price, one of the higher segment. This one considered after comparing because of today again, we do compare to those 1.7K punya median KLCC lah. Booster 5-star, supply versus demand is 1.5-star. MRO is about 2.5-star. Cash flow, on the luxury segment, it potentially can give a close to break even punya cash flow versus mortgage, rental versus mortgage, right? Hence is the 3-star. USP is a 3-star. ROC capital gain, 2-star. ROC cash flow, link back to the cash flow side is a 3-star, and MEO is a 2-star lah, right? Hence capital gain rating is a 2.8-star, and cash flow rating is not that bad, but 3.3-star lah for Cloud House KLCC Jalan Piramli, right? So next property we do have, right? I think this is one of the last in proper KLCC proximity. Armani Prestige. This one is also located off Jalan Nampang, Jalan Mayang lah, right? Pricing roughly about 2,300 ringgit plus PSF lah. Okay. So next slide. Price wise is a 2-star due to the price, right? Versus the average median. Booster is a 5-star. Supply versus demand also due to the small size punya upcoming supply. MRO is a 3-star, short, medium, long-term rental, and the segmentation. Cash flow is a 3-star. Even so, the price at 2003, at a long-term rental whole unit, we still projecting at the break even, right? ROC capital gain is 2-star due to the price. Cash flow is a 3-star due to the rental. MEO is a 2-star, right? And capital gain rating, final one is 2.6-star. Cash flow rating is about 3.4-star for Armani Prestige, right? And next property. Right. This is one of the property that I think we reviewed in the OG series twice already. Armani Halson, one of the most controversial so-called last time when we discussed about this Armani Halson. Price range is quite big. As of today, the latest information that we've gotten, roughly about 1,900 plus PSF lah. All right, for this Armani Halson Jalan Ampang. Right. So next slide. We reviewed this in DOG as mentioned. Price roughly about 2-star. Booster is a 5-star. KLCC supply demand 1.5-star based on the small unit. This one got more than 2,000 units in general, and most of the units is a small size units. So this is the main contributor for the upcoming supply for small sizes unit in KLCC area actually, right? Armani Halson. MRO is about 3-star. Cash flow 4-star, right? USP is a 2-star. ROC capital gain is a 2-star. Cash flow is about 3-star. Okay, MEO is about 2-star lah. So capital gain rating, final one is 2.4-star. Cash flow rating is about 3.4-star lah. All right, and we do consider also this high density consideration as well for this one. Next slide. Right. So this one is already at the, so then these 4 upcoming properties that I'll be reviewing, I will go through is all under outside of KLCC border already lah. So we can call it, this area is not a pretender, but pretender, those are accessible to KLCC side lah. All right, is this one is centric the stations, located on top of Dang Wangi station at still Jalan Nampang access lah. Right, so Dang Wangi station LRT. On top of that, this is the one of the this is the development centrics, the stations KLCC they call it, right? Price roughly outside selling about 1,006 of today. Okay, from 1,004 to 1,006. Okay, next slide. Okay, so based on the star rating, price wise, roughly about 3-star. All right, and booster is about 5-star. we do consider those KLCC um, um, booster due to this one is located just on top of the LRT stations, about 2 stations away to KLCC lah. All right. Supply versus demand is a 3 star. Okay. MRO is a 3.5 star. Cash flow is a 4 star. USP is a 3 star. ROC capital gain is a 3 star. ROC cash flow is about 4 star. MEO multiple exit option is about 4 star. And the final rating roughly about 3.5 star for capital gain rating, and cash flow rating about 3.9 star based on the whole unit rental long term, right? Centric station. Just for information, this is one of the developments that come with most of the dual key layout as well. All right. And it's a TOD, or we call it infra capital TOD, transit under development, right? So next slide.
I think what is interesting here for Centrix, especially, I think it's one of it, I think lah,
Mm,
is the first development which is completely on top of a LRT or MRT station.
mm,
So we're not talking about connected, got link bridge, you can cross the road. No, no, no. This is right on top of it. So I think this is like a very interesting experiment. We don't know whether there will be a premium moving forward, because this is the first time Malaysia akan ada such thing. I think a concept of whereby you are on top of a MRT or LRT station is very common in Singapore, very common in places like Hong Kong,
China.
right? China. But for Malaysia, this is the first, right? So we've seen developments whereby LRT passes by, right? Dekat Bangsa pun ada and all of that, right? But those are the worst lah, basically. You can see but you cannot touch it, right? So it's like macam, you get all of the noise but there's no LRT station, right? So that you can use . So we think, like I said, Centrix will be a very, very interesting property to look at, because it's the first time we have a property completely stopped on top of a TOD within tier 1, within the KLCC vicinity. All right. So the old name is called Latitude, right? And think they were trying to launch it many years ago, and then they had very poor sales to the point developer just refunded lah. Right. So today it's now being rebranded as Centrix. Right.
All right. Yeah, thank you so much, Faizul, for the insights. So again, hence why that's the reason why they call it the centric the station lah, because the station is the development itself lah, right? So again, final rating is about 3.5 star for capital gain rating, cash flow rating about 3.9 star lah for Centrix the station. Okay, next slide. So next is another just about outside of the KLCC border that we've set, Skyline Embassy, Jalan Nampang. We can consider this is Jalan Nampang towards KLCC. If from KLCC is on the east side, if from Ampang is on the west side lah, right? So I can call it this Jalan Nampang West punya area, right? Roughly priced from 1,002 plus up until 1,006 PSF, depending on the facing, floor and layout, right? So next slide. I think also we reviewed this on our previous DOG, I think on the episode 4 or 5 lah, this one, right? On the price wise, it's a 4 star, not that bad. Comparable to those just now we rated for Centrix, right? Booster is a 5 star, supply versus demand is about 3 star, MRO about 3.75 star, cash flow about 4 star. It's giving a quite potential good cash flow projection as well, right? Based on long-term rental. USP is about 3 star. ROC capital gain 3 star. ROC cash flow is about 4 star, and multi per exit option is about 4 star, right? So capital gain rating roughly about 3.7 star. Cash flow rating is about 4 star, right? So next slide. This one is another area is Lofi Raja Uda. This one is integrated with MRT, Raja Uda, MRT under Putrajaya line, right? also located next to their big brother, which is Armani Raja Uda lah, right? This is the second development under the same developer lah, right? Pricing roughly about 1250, in average about 13 today, right? Next slide. Price wise, roughly about 3 star. Due to we consider this area is not even Jalan Nampang, not even those pretender near Jalan Sultan Ismail. This one is Raja Uda. We would say that this is Kampung Baru area, right? Turnout is a 3 star lah in comparison to those area median. Booster is about 4 star. We do consider those infra that easy access to TRX, I mean, where this MRT is also located under the same line, one line away sahaja lah to TRX, about 3 to 4 stations, right? Supply versus demand, 3.5 star. MRO about 3 star. Cash flow is a 4 star. It's actually not that bad. Cash flow can give a positive, slightly positive cash flow versus a mortgage. USB is about 3 star. ROC capital gain cash flow about 3 star. Multiple exit option is about 3 star. So capital gain rating is about 3.3 star, and cash flow rating final one is about 3.4 star for Lofi Raja Uda at Kampung Baru, right? So next slide. All right. So I think we've done already. What are those properties for the area of KLCC? Maybe I can go through what we have bought in KLCC or Bukit Bintang area punya vicinity. We call it a tier 1 area in far capital inventory lah, right? The picture shown is only the illustration, not really a real illustration now, picture for the development, right? And the name is only the code name lah. All right, we cannot reveal to you guys, we only can reveal to our clients, right? So first one is based on this one, code name called Riri. This one we are going to launch like very soon, unfair advantage for our clients. So price wise, roughly about 4 star. Okay, booster is about 4 star. Supply versus demand is 3 star. MRO is about 3.75 star. Cash flow, due to the price that we entered versus public, we entered at a good price, hence cash flow wise we can goes up to more than it can goes up to positive cash flow, where it can goes up to 5 star lah, right? USP is a 3 star. ROC capital gain cash flow is a 5 star, mainly due to we entered at the right price, we entered at the low price, and also we entered potentially a 0 down, all right, without capital, and also multiple exit option is up to 5 star, again due to the cash flow, due to the price, due to the right USP lah, right? And final rating, we rated at 4 star for final capital gain rating, based on the property that we entered, and also the final one is the cash flow rating is a 4.25 star lah, roughly about 4.2 to 4.3 star, right? So this is Riri. So next one, we do have another one in KLCC and Bukit Bintang area called Abby. Again, this is not the real picture, not the real name. You cannot find it when you Google, right? So price is about 3.9 star. Booster 5 star. This one is a very big booster, coming up to this tier 1 area. Supply versus demand is about 3.7 star. MRO about 3.75 star. Cash flow 4 star. Some of our clients can go up to 5 star punya cash flow. All right. We just based on market is about 4 star. USB about 4 star. ROC capital gain is about 5 star. Cash flow about 4 star. Multiple exit option about 4 star lah. So capital gain rating final one about 4.3 star. Cash flow rating is about 4.2 star for Abby at this particular area lah. Alright, again,
Guys, just to give you guys some form of context. We can't reveal the property name because we signed the NDA with the property developer.
Yeah.
And because we buy at a cheaper price point compared to public. So that means our clients are going to buy cheaper. We cannot reveal it in order not to spoil the market for number one, for the developer, also for the other agent which is selling. So it's a bit hard for them to go and sell and market price point when we openly go and say we enter this particular development and we buy cheaper, right? So that's the reason why we don't reveal. We cannot reveal. So we can only talk about developments that we have bought 1 year to 2 years after we have actually completed the purchase. That's when we can reveal. But prior, if the deal is ongoing, like today, we are buying both Riri, we're also buying Abby, we're also buying another property in KLCC, which is also called Isabella. That one is the first branded residence that we are buying at 1,005 per square foot. So just to give you some context why we don't reveal the name, not because we don't want, legally we cannot. Okay, so if you try to Google any of this property, you're not going to be able to go find out. There's no such thing as Abby. Don't call us a scam, right? Or property called Riri in KLCC. It's just code name. So we like to call our the best property, we normally give them girls' name. The not so good property, we give them guys' name like Zakri, right? Or Faizul, right? So but so yeah. So awet cantik lah, awet cantik. So property
Betul lah.
cantik kita akan bagi nama perempuan, nama cantik. Macam tu. Right? So guys, macam tu lah guys, lelaki akan sentiasa dipersalahkan. Gitu, right? So yeah. So that's just how we do things, unfortunately. If you are a client, I think you will know what properties that we are buying. If you're not client, just know lah that we are buying. Right? So just know that we are buying. So for example, Abbey is a property that we're buying at about 1,250 ringgit per square foot, right, in Bukit Bintang. Right. Riri is going to be 1,003 to 1,004, right? In the KLCC Pretender, right? So area. Why we are buying it? Facilities is great. A layout is even more phenomenal, right? So yeah. That's some context lah guys in terms of what we bought. At Abbey is already VP, right? And today our clients are buying this I think close to about 50% discount in the first batch, and they got about 600 to 700,000, no, 300 to about 500,000 cash out, right? 300 to 500,000 cash out, and still property can get positive cash flow, right? No, definitely not Times Square 2. Today is KLCC, bro, not Bukit Bintang. And Times Square 2 is not even proper Bukit Bintang, that's Pudu. Right? So yeah. So yeah. Okay. Carry on.
Alright. So yeah. That's AB and Riri. Someone was asking where is Riri, where is AB. As I mentioned, in this particular area lah, the topic that we are discussing today, KLCC area lah. Alright. Let's move on to the next one. Yeah, just for additional context, as Faizul mentioned, we bought AB last time as low as 1,002. Actually, on the first batch, we bought below 1,002 PSF, right? And really today, we bought as low as below 1,003 PSF lah, alright, which is below the Pretender punya market price lah as of today, alright. A lot of people guessing the name already, right? Okay, so let's move on to the next slide.
Don't need to guess lah guys. You guess also no point. You cannot buy our price. So no point guessing also lah.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah.
Okay. So we found a agency, one of the leading agency that's got a lot of KLCC Bukit Bintang properties. They did a presentation, right? They did a presentation to go and market their developments, and they did a Zoom presentation of about 60, 70 slides. So we find it to be quite funny lah, right? So again, I think we have done Battle Royale and Deal or Grew in the past, whereby if the developer or the agent did well, kita puji, we praise them, and we didn't do very well, they mislead public, they mislead people, we call them out, right? So there's a couple of interesting part of the presentation, right? So this is very, I would say, very cheeky of the agent. Again, not the whole agency, maybe that particular agent, right? Maybe that's why they can go for overseas trip and apa semua tu, because they mislead people into buying property, dapat banyak com. But anyway, let's go through the points very quickly, right? So in that presentation, right? Very interestingly, right? Very interestingly, there's a development called Pavilion Square. This is by Pavilion Group. That was being earmarked at about 2,700 ringgit per square foot. The reality here is that for a lot of the pavilion punya unit, most of them are not above 2,500 ringgit per square foot. So we think this is a very clear misrepresentation, right, to highlight the fact, right, that their properties are cheaper, right? Second here, even for Dawn KLCC, there's a lot of units. Net price was about 1,008. So we think 1,009 is again misrepresentation. The agents is clearly selling Brannigans. So that one I don't think he got it wrong lah, from the price point per square foot lah. I'd be very surprised lah if he did, right? The other notable thing here is that in the area of Bukit Bintang and KLCC, whereby you've got half of the property leasehold, half the property freehold. What is interesting here is that the highest recorded leasehold property today is now going for about 2003, 2004, right? If you are talking about Pavilion Square under construction, right? If you are talking about completed, hey, can you guys check? Pavilion Suites, I think is leasehold as well, right? It's leasehold as well, right? And I think that one is as of today transacted at close to about 3,000 per square foot, right? So again, in KL city center area, leasehold freehold doesn't really matter much actually, right? So anyway, this slide very clear misrepresentation or purposely jacking up the price point of other projects, right? Other projects in order to make their projects looks cheap. There you go, Pavilion Suites leasehold, right? But very high lah, subsale value. Next slide. Right, so which thing not right lah for the agent to go and do, yeah. Then second thing here is that this concept of whereby they similar to Battle Royale, right? Similar to DOG, right? They did star rating, right? They did star rating to highlight, right, investment wise. So what is funny here is that unit rental, whole unit ROI is 1 star. So again, because maybe they are selling all Airbnb, right? So co-living is branded as 3-star. And there's also another part of this presentation whereby the agent said co-living is banned in Kuala Lumpur by DBKL, which is a complete false, because what is banned from DBKL is partition, additional partition, not co-living. Right, so I think they should do better, right? They should do better in terms of highlighting the actual fact, but the idea of whole unit rental is in a way is being sold as a terrible idea, right? And the other thing about pros of Airbnb here is that high rental rate during peak season, which is true, but yeah lah. I see people laughing. Airbnb manageable 5-star lol, right? So same lah. When I look at it here, 5-star for Airbnb, okay. And what is interesting here is that from a protection point of view, Airbnb is better because everything got insurance. I don't think this guy has actually tried to claim for insurance before, right? So if you rent and let's say someone damages your unit, right? Yes, there is insurance by Airbnb, but I don't think these people has actually tried to claim. Right, it's not as easy, right? So I think it's a complete misrepresentation, right? So Airbnb is stable, again, if you ask me, complete misrepresentation. I would argue co-living is even more stable than whole unit rental or Airbnb from a room rental rate, because they don't fluctuate, right? So again, we think this is a misrepresentation to just sell the concept of Airbnb because they know if you use whole unit rental, sure koyak one, this the property cannot sell, right? Confirm koyak teruk punya the cash flow, right? So in order to justify the selling price, so they are in a way telling you the good stories about doing short-term stays ataupun Airbnb lah. So again, I feel this is a complete misrepresentation. All right, I think the agent should do better. Next. Right, so very funny. The one on top that you see is their development. So ROI is very high, and this ROI is based on, he say, rental actual data, right? Again, so I'm not sure how many occupancy rate that is being used, right? Because his idea of studio unit getting a 5,600 monthly income with a 2,000 per month positive cash flow, is very optimistic lah, guys, right? And obviously the development that he's not selling, right? So if you look at it, dekat ROI dekat sini, wah, semua 4 star, bukan 4 star, 4%, right? 4%. So lepas tengok 70% loan pun, wah, masih negative cash flow RM3,200, guys. So this one kerja very, very keng lah. I have to say lah. Very, very keng way of, wah, I'm speechless lah, basically, right? I'm quite speechless, right? When I look at it lah, right? So, but I guess for some people, as long as I can make 200K, 300K a year, selling property, everything is good lah, right? So their property has got a 10% rental return, right? And the property that they're not selling all got 5%, right? 4% rental return, right? So next slide, please, right? There was a lot of misrepresentation by the way. Very funny, right? So I think I'm almost towards the end of my presentation already. So I'm just going to give a quick summary before I call in the panel guests to go and pick, right? What's the best property that they think available today in KLCC, right? So very quickly, summary wise, right? You saw the most important slide, but I'm also going to cover a couple of other things. For a lot of KLCC properties, long-term rental, I think with a exception of maybe 2 or 3 developments, will fail, will be negative cash flow, right? So because of that, all of the agents and the property developers are keen to sell you this idea of Airbnb short stays, okay? But again, guys, the proper KLCC average occupancy rate is, you already know, right? It's between 60 to 80%. Their nightly rate also, you already know, right? You already know. Okay, so please go your eyes wide open, right? So again, right, we use AirDNA. AirDNA is a data analytics for Airbnb, which again, none of these guys is going to go and show you lah, right? Again, second concern here is that new supply for small units below 700 square foot will triple to quadruple in the next 5 years. So that number is not small. So again, do we think there's a possibility of oversupply? Obviously there is, but again, I'm not gonna put a stamp. I'm normally quite vocal. I'm quite fast to go and say an area oversupply. But if Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur continues to be competitive, right? From a holiday destination POV, retirement destination POV, the supply that is going to come to the market might be okay. Okay, that's point number 1. Point number 2 here is that for markets like KLCC area, right? For market like KLCC area, right? New property will be in demand compared to the older property, right? So new property normally will take over the rental, the occupancy rate from the older property, right? So that's the thing that you should be aware of lah. So there will be possibility that even though from a verdict point of view, you will see that what we say today, right? There's a lot of property in KLCC. We give 1 star, 2 star from a price point of view, right? But it might make sense the first 5 years after VP because it's new. Right, so a lot of people prefer new property, and this property will be popular. Okay, will be popular. Number 3, right? Majority of this new project are not selling below median. I will see all of them, right? Right, all of them are selling at above median. That's fair, as long as not 30 to 40% above median, right? So if you're selling one 10-20% is typically quite okay. But obviously, the best thing that you can do here is that if you want to guarantee make money, you have to buy below median. Right? And the median, we already share. Berapa, right? How much? Okay. Again, number 4, most developers and agents today marketing new property KLCC will sell you short-term rental, right? So you know, be mindful, right? Number 5, a lot of these properties will be negative cash flow. So some of them will give you capital gain, but again, you have to buy below median lah. The price has to be correct. Okay. Number 6, fact here is that KLC is one of the worst performing area from a capital gain and cash flow point of view since 2010. Last 15 years, not many areas lost money, majority, right, like KLCC, right? But things have turned around, right, since COVID. So KLCC today is doing better today compared to pre-COVID. Okay. And then the thing about KLCC, if you have to enter, we don't recommend you keeping it for 10 to 20 years, right? We think that, right? We think that if you want to buy a KLCC property, can. If you can buy below median, can. But I think you should exit within 7 years after VP. Because why? After 7 years, your property becomes an old property. It's no longer a new property, guys. Does that make sense? Okay. So if you have to buy KLCC property, you have to understand. It's a game of new property will always be hot. A lot of people want to stay there. Even Airbnb will do well and all of that. But after a while, right, that property becomes old. Then it's going to struggle big time. So if you're looking to buy a new property in KLCC, right, town center, we don't recommend keeping it more than 7 years. Buy, make your money within 7 years, exit. Okay. So that's the summary for KLCC as of today, right? Now, like I said, there's a couple of guides for you dekat sini, right? In terms of those who are watching tonight. So you are in luck, right? Next slide. What can you do to better your outcome, right? So first, this is not something we covered last year. We're going to cover this year. We think the play for KLCC has to be international branded residential. So if you can enter below 2,000 ringgit per square foot and you've got a branded residence, you are most likely not going to lose money because why? Even non-international branded residents today are selling for about 2,000. So you got international brand, your daily rate goes up by 30-50%, you know, your probability of making money is much greater, especially if you enter the right price point, right? Again, for us at FarCap, we're not a fan of this area, but at the right price point, we enter. We entered a property that wasn't an international branded residential last year, but this year we'll have an international branded operator coming in, announced next month, confirmed already, right? So we entered at 1,005 per square foot. We entered cheaper than everyone in KLCC, and we have international branded operator coming. Okay. Number 2, what we saw as of today, majority property that does short-term well, they normally have rooftop pool, right? They normally have rooftop pool, and the rental rate, right, daily rental rate for property with rooftop pool versus the property with no rooftop pool is easily 30-50% higher. Right, 30-50% higher. Right. Third one here is that if you want to consider looking to retire in Malaysia, the medium to large size unit in KLCC today are very cheap. And today you can buy one at below 1,000 per square foot, and the conditions are going to be quite okay because it is KLCC. Okay. Number 4, KLCC is the cheapest among Asia Prime City Center. So we think there's a lot of growth opportunity, especially if the economy, government becomes stable, right? Especially again, if you enter below 1,000 per square foot for non-small unit, and for small unit, you enter below 1,005, we think there's upside of capital gain, right? The biggest driver for capital gain for KLCC properties will be high-speed rail, but I have no idea when that is going to be announced. Okay, I've been waiting for years for this to be announced, right? But it hasn't been. right? So once that is announced, the KLCT city center property will enter a property bull run. That will be the time whereby you will see a normalization of properties new launch being sold at about 3,000 to 4,000 ringgit per square foot. Because now they can compare to Singapore, right? Whether is it going to happen anytime soon? The answer is I don't know. Most likely no, given the global turmoil of today. Not many people looking to invest in a 100 billion ringgit infrastructure project, right? So the type that a lot of no developer has explored, but but will actually give a positive cash flow 1,800, 2,000 selling price. This one we keep it lah. Any developer watching this, if you want to know, reach out to us at Far Capital. So iklan, advertising sikit, right? So people ask us, what do we get from doing this session? Well, we have property developers coming to us asking for advice. We can advise them what kind of property to build, what kind of property that makes sense from a cash flow point of view, all right? What kind of property that is going to be safe for people to go and buy, right? So that's our incentive, right? And we do have property developers watching this, right? The last time we did Deal or Grill, we highlight that there are some agents doing illegal GRRs, and the moment we highlighted that, the next week, that GRR advertisement is completely gone. So kudos to the developer that took action, watch webinars like this, and then took action so that they don't continue to mislead the public. Sometimes not the developer, is the agent. And again I also don't blame the agent. They're all cari makan only mah. Yeah, so again, these are opportunities available. So guys, if you're gonna pay 2,000 per square foot onwards, bet on international brand, number one, branded resi. Please make sure your property has got a rooftop pool. And again, less than 7 years unless high-speed rail is coming, to Kuala Lumpur. Okay. So yeah, can we bring the panelists, and then we can go through what is their top one pick for tonight. If they have to buy something in this area, what would you buy? Right? And I guess we start with Sean, because I'm pretty sure everyone is interested to see what Sean is going to buy.
Damn tough though. Like 10 of it, right? Okay, this one is not part of the list. I think within a list, if I were to choose one, I would choose the one above Centrix. I'll pick Centrix. Because that's the only one that is true TOD. But there's a feng shui saying. This one a bit China one. Okay. Anytime when a train pass by the building don't do very well. I don't know what logic. I haven't studied that yet, so I'm asking a few references. But if you look into the one in Kerinci one, the building, technically it should be the best building one.
Don't do well at all. Terrible.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then we have the one in Brickfields. Brickfields panggil tu apa?
Riveria.
Riveria.
But you don't have to walk, it's passing
No,
through the
no,
station.
it passed through, but you don't have a
Yes.
station. Worse.
Yeah,
Worst.
that's why.
It's like the
No
worst.
station, pass through, no station. Yeah.
So you pass by, don't know for what. Yeah. So you get a noise only lah.
And you get vibration every time the train pass by.
Yeah. So that is the reason of me picking it. But then there's this feng shui there. I'm like very perplexed right now. So if I'm kind of true number driven person, then I will pick it up. But the actual fact of them pulling back and rebrand, I think that is also a good thing, in my opinion. Not many developers can put down the ego and just hold back and return money. I think that is a very rare move to see in a developer.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think that one, they don't want to cheat you money, but they don't want to lose money also. So a lot of people will just delay. Yeah,
Betul.
I think that is the first But personally, True Blue, like we spoke before last time, you promised me you were going to send me your list of where to buy for the old one. So I am I'm actually looking for older buildings to buy in KLCC because I do think the older ones like 2005 square feet kind of things are amazing. So personally, I've gone through almost all buildings in Jalan Stoner, almost all. Then for KLCC, because access is a little bit harder, so I'm on a personal hunt actually to go for KLCC properties. So personal, true, I want to go for older big units because I think I will retire in KLCC. I think. The within whatever is here, I think Centrix is the one that is more outstanding today.
Okay. Centrix. William?
Investment point of view, I think memang like Iheng lah. What Iheng said is Centrix definitely looks interesting in terms of the price versus the value, right? Especially the connectivity wise, right? You got the monorail, you got LRT. I mean, in fact, Prasanana is the landowner lah, so that's why you got such thing lah. I mean numbers wise lah, but then I think what I got the insights from my agent's friend outside, right? There's actually a lot of people actually bought KLCC properties for trophy purchase lah. Like they just want to own a unit there without really looking into return at all. So if that's the case, I personally like Oxley a lot, right? Next to the new mall, potentially the Tower M near direct view as well, right? Which is going to be very, very amazing. That's going to be taller than Medical Tower good. So I think that would be very, very good. In fact, they have the tallest rooftop pool as well. Again, level 77, right? And yeah, that would be very, very good for trophy purchase, I think. Out of the 10 tonight. Yeah, but investment, I think that Centrix will be the only option. Look at the price wise, yeah, it's the closest that fits our A filters lah, basically.
But Oxley in construction very long already, right?
But they're soon going to maybe AVP end of this year. Yeah, very long, but yeah.
Very
end
long.
of the year.
But just to share another story, like what William said is true, and like because I was selling NFTs, then I was selling NFTs of buildings that I have visited before, right? Just because the picture is the next door building, Four Seasons, I get to sell that particular NFT because bid size is the same or file size is the same one, right? But everyone else is willing to pay 4 to 5 times more for that image itself. The image of Four Seasons versus Yang Lain, they are willing to pay 5 times more. So whatever that you say is true, and so the emotion, this is the third purchase, the own thing investment, the collection part, the trophy part. That one is very, very true for rich people. I think that was also the theory we discussed for Pavilion. Although they sell above, but throughout time they retain value.
Cause it's Pavilion.
Yeah. We need to clip all this, I think, because we do too long, too many, right? Because Sianja, your editor, I just gave him a new job, but I think should clip all this.
Zach?
I think Centric too. Not because nak tiru. Same reason. Okay, I try to find other reason. Your Pretender still. But you're looking to buy still should be below Pretender price, right? This one I foresee layout kind of amazing. Facilities wise, it's above decent. Location is located on the premium side of city center. I mean you are just opposite of one of the premium view, Bukit Anas, together with the KL Tower. I think that's gonna be one of the best USP as well for you, because in order for you to become unique from other people, you are one of a kind yang boleh nampak that KL Tower directly from your unit, right? So this is considered one of the USP that not in our eat property filter pun, right? So yeah, then I think yeah, on the premium side of city center, it's located those in near Sultan Ismail towards the city center lah. Instead of other pretender like Skyline Embassy, Amani Raja Uda kan. This pretender I foresee, these centuries I foresee will become the best lah. Skyline is not that bad, but still I go for the transit under development. TUD, the new term, transit under development thing, right?
Created by Zakri.
Transit under development. Yeah, so Sun Creeks.
LB?
Okay. I still go for Riri. Okay, like I want to speak Riri, but yeah, if other than Riri, then is I will same with William because in the name of branded and non-branded. Because to me, if other developers is launching at 2,000 plus, it's similar price point to this source of hotel. Why not I buy this branded residence, with a premium view? Then I have no worries for me to retain the value of the property and when I wanted to sell off because it's still a branded suites. For others, like I think there's a lot of conversation going on a Q&A just now that I've tried to reply because they did not put in a chat. I mean, didn't put it in the chat, but they didn't put in Q&A. So the conversation is all ongoing about the price point. Why are we rating all the other properties so bad, right? It's just the price point. Just because as per today, as in the highest transacted price point is actually from Star Residence, about 1,830 per square feet. So it's actually not far away from their launches prices. Average new property in this KLCC is about 1,007. So for all the new launches that was trying to launch, is 1,008, 2,000, 2,002, 2,004 per square feet or 2,007 per square feet. The range of it is very big. So it depends on the location. Some will tell you I'm just 50 meters away from KLCC. Some is telling that I have the best view of KLCC, Some tell you I have a connected sky bridge to KLCC. Yeah, so there's so many of story of selling this. So, I mean, in the end of the day, you still have to walk. So it's just at the end of the day, it's the price point. Is this branded resident that we should pay for? Because for example, Four Seasons is just about 2,007, 2,008 per square foot transacted only. So if I wanted to pay for this for a non-branded resident, it seems to be like not really fit to our criteria lah. Okay, so for example, some property is not in a very good locations. Last time we always talk about Kampong Baru, we have a graveyard view of thing, but they price at a decent, okay, or correct price point lah because of this. So if you wanted to be so high density, want to complete a market, you want to have the best profit margin and all that GR or whatever that you have given in the markets, the thing is the price point lah. Because to me, it's always, if we invest as an investor, at the end of the day is you have to think in the shoe as well, who is the takers who coming in. So if this is the only Airbnb is the only money-making tools for this development, what if it doesn't work out? So is it other investor, they will be worried to enter. So there's no taker, you are hard to exit. That's why we even consider all this in our exit options. That's why the 8 February filter, we consider a lot of things. That's why at the end of the day, it's not only, the price, the location, unique selling points, it's all of it that actually makes what we pick today. So if you talk about branded, I'll go for Sofitel. Other than that, I'll go for Riri. Yeah, because of the attachment of the RRT. I mean, some people will talk about Skyline Embassy. I mean, Skyline also not too bad. The price also quite okay. It's just the vicinity and the nearer location. As long as, I mean, they're still on Jalan Ampang, but just Riri is much more closer. Yeah, Skyline Embassy is slightly further down in the Jalan Ampang side. So, I mean, but they're still accessible to the RRT. So that would be my take for my pick for tonight. Yeah.
For me, my top two take would be Sofitel and Centrix.
Actually, Sofitel is which one?
Oxley.
Oxley.
Oh,
Oxley.
Oxley is Sofitel.
Yeah,
They have
actually.
different suites.
Like you all talk Sofitel then like, I didn't pay attention, man.
Branded residence. So that's the highest swimming pool in Malaysia.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, like, Oxley branded, man?
Yeah,
Oh,
branded.
rupanya Sofitel.
Sofitel. So long story short, I was actually approached by the CEO of Oxley Malaysia back then when they wanted to bring Palm Jumeirah as the branded residence, the first Palm Jumeirah branded residence outside of Dubai, right? So that was the first plan lah. Then it ended up becoming Sofitel. So that was the history lah. This project, very long time history for me lah, right? Together with the previous CEO of Oxley, the first one in Malaysia. If I'm consistent with what I'm pitching tonight, which is go for branded residence, I would go for Sofitel as my first pick, right? Because I don't want to be competing with 10,000 of other Airbnb units lah, right? So Sofitel, 5-star brand. I think from a facility point of view, they're gonna beat Four Seasons hands down. Brand wise, cannot beat Four Seasons, but facility wise, they will beat Four Seasons for sure. Four Seasons have got a shitty pool, very average gym, average looking building lah. So the only thing great about Four Seasons is its name and its location, right? So Sofitel has got similar location, but I think from a facility point of view, it's gonna beat them hands down, right? So my money is on Sofitel. I also think that if a branded residence were to be launched today, 5-star today, I think would cost at least 2008. So I think at 2005, you probably get about 10% discount, right? So that's that. Obviously, my first pick will be our own property, which is called Riri, which I guess you guys got to hear this first. Client watching tonight also got to hear first. I'm also looking to bring in a branded residence for Riri. So at 1003, we're gonna own fucking branded residence at KLCC. So pray we are successful. I did brought one already to Isabella. So we think we can bring one more. They are talking. Riri is built as a hotel residence anyway. So I think it's just gonna nicely fit. Facility wise, also very hard to beat. Yeah. So based on the selection tonight, I'm gonna go for Sofitel. But again, our own property, Riri, 1003, 1004, most likely will have a branded residence too. So that one will become a clear winner lah, basically, right? At 1003, 1004. Right. So that's that. So thank you, panelists, for your input, and I think we can move straight to the Q&A.
All right. Okay, so let's go for the first question. Thanks for the great sharing. Is it possible to schedule a tour to view the deals you mentioned? I would love to join one if you have any plan.
Okay, you must be either a stern follower or not. Because we're doing a KLCC property tour next week to go and look at Riri. So our next, I guess our next grade A property, in KLCC, the tour is gonna happen next week. But that one only open for client. I don't know whether we're gonna open it to non-clients. Right. So for client, you got the link dekat sana. You can go and click. Right, to join our tour next week.
I feel so terrible as a client now because I pun tak tahu Riri kat mana sekarang.
Please reach out to your success manager. Dia akan bagi tahu dengan you secepat mungkin. Riri dekat mana.
Mana ni Riri ni? Alamak. Ya.
Okay, all right. So moving on to the next question. Is there any area in KL that you would say is comparable to KLCC? Something with similar appeal but maybe better value or future upside? Areas like Bangsa and Monkera are already at premium pricing, but I'm seeing Bukit Jalil emerging as the next tier 1 destination. It is offering the same international appeal and connectivity as KLCC, but a fraction of the price with exponential growth potential. What do you guys think?
I'm gonna let Sean answer this. The Sultan of Bukit Jalil. Abang Sean kita. Lu
So-
jawab, Sean.
The only part that is Sultan is my surname Tan je, okay? Ayo, this one must be selling Bukit Jalil project lah, obviously lah. What to say, bro? When you compare KLCC, you siao ah. We are talking about KLCC being the capital of Malaysia leh. Bro, don't like that. Everyone thinks that. But okay, selfishly, come to Bukit Jalil, right? Because I'm gonna make double my money. But no chance at all. If you speak to now any tourists, right, where they want to visit in Malaysia, 3 locations only one. Malacca, KLCC, Genting. Then for medical reasons, you want to go Penang. Yeah. Where else? That's why I also want to use this opportunity to, I think, shout out to Exim as a developer. Whoever created that business model that unlock hospitality and management, it's a genius lah. So you just think about it. They started this whole thing from expressions. Then they experiment again and again and again until they found out the perfect formula. That's why every other developer is doing it. So if you look it from the Sabah point of view, Penang point of view, Ipoh point of view, Kuantan, KK, Kuala Terengganu, all also I go Kuala Terengganu also see property leh. Then because if we all based on long-term, short-term room rental kind of format, right? Nowhere else can develop. But once you unlock the tourism management, like hotel don't want to open, we open lah. And a lot of people, it's not as educated, so they are very familiar. They want to operate their own building unit lah. So because of that, right, a lot of developments are ongoing everywhere. Because of that, right, everybody is interested in properties, which is also good for my YouTube channel lah. So just want to shout out because of this, right now, whatever phenomenon that we are looking at right now, 9,000 square feet, it's never going to happen if they didn't crack the code for mini units tapping on tourism base. When we think that it was illegal back then they cracked it by owning their own hotel, their own operator. That's why now the discussion has been growing to now we are discussing branded versus non-branded. Not whether Airbnb is legit or not anymore, which is a very good progression in a very short period of time. So I think kudos, that's why they totally deserve all the first phase of buyers, whoever that comes later, sorry lah. Because you don't know, they in terms of system infrastructure, I don't think any other developers are ready. Like from a own stay point of view, from an infra point of view, design point of view. Yeah. So I think that being said, Bukit Jalil no chance lah. Back to KLCC, bro. You want to sell Bukit Jalil project, don't be so obvious.
Next.
All right. So next question. How do we get on your list for upcoming property deals? Is there a sign up process?
You can, I think the team, you can put the link there if you want to inquire in terms of how to become a client. There's never been a cheaper price point to become a client. You can become a client for 1 ringgit and 3 cents per day. but I'm not going to use tonight as a pitch session. If you are keen, there's a WhatsApp number here. WhatsApp us, right? So by becoming a client, you're going to have access to below market property, zero down property. I saw a question about do we give guaranteed rental? The answer is no. Guaranteed rental are in a way illegal, yeah. From an investment punya POV. But I think our past track record itself, I think is very clear, right? We don't do anything below 6% rental yield. There's a bunch of our property today is getting above 9%, some of them almost 11% on long-term rentals. So I think if you want to appreciate what we do a little bit more, go and watch the EAT filter, right? To just have a look at what is the data point that we look at. Then you can understand why we are able to buy into developments that continues to outperform the market, right? On top of being able to buy units at a cheaper price point, because Far Capital don't buy one unit, we buy 20, 30, 50, 100 units. So we get a completely different set of price point, which is why we can't reveal what we buy, right? So if people are keen to become a client, all right, do accept us, then you can join us. You get to buy the property at the cheapest price point possible. You get to buy the best property, right, at the safest price point possible. And for those who become a client this week, we'll get to join our KLCC, our next property tour to go look at Riri.
All right. Okay. Next question. Hi from Witat Lee. So is the HSR project will confirm to proceed? If HSR project confirm, is this mega booster for KLCC and Forest City property?
Yes, I think it'd be a savior for Forest City, right? But really major booster for KLCC. Because then you're talking about commuting time of 1 hour to Singapore. Less than that, actually. Right? If you have to come to Singapore twice a week only, it makes far more sense to stay in KLCC area, commute twice, pay about $1,000 to commute back and forth. Still cheaper than you staying in Singapore by quite a fair bit. Right? So yeah, I think it'll be a major booster. If HSR were to come along, then your average, as of today, you see median KLCC property is about 1,500, right? So I think if HSR were to come, then we're looking at about 2,000 to 2,005. That point of time, most likely you'll see a branded residence going for about 4,000 to 5,000 per square foot. Because that's what HDB in Singapore is selling. 4,000 ringgit per square foot. Not even branded. Right? So yeah.
Not even private.
Not even, yeah. You're comparing our branded, our best property is now comparable price point to HDB in Singapore. So yeah, 1 hour commuting. So I think that will happen. All right. So for me, I think it's the biggest booster that can happen to Malaysia as a country. I look forward seeing it, but let's see. Agong is a Sultan of Johor, right? So China, we and China good terms. So I think if they can iron out a couple of things, I think you can see announcement coming. But when, tak tahulah.
HSR.
Okay. Next question is from Cave. So do you have any update news on the HSR, like when starting, the station
Wow.
location details, and when completing?
I think the station location details is not the most important thing lah. The question is the viability of the HSR. Right, so I think Jakarta, Bandung has got one already. I think as of now, from a collection point of view and profit point of view, I think they cannot make enough money to pay the interest. Right? Cannot make enough money to pay the interest costs of the development. Not principal tau. Interest saja pun tak boleh nak bayar. Alright. So obviously Malaysia, Singapore has got a very different economics. You got the Singapore dollar, you got the ringgit. You know, it's a completely different proposition altogether. But you know, I think people are careful lah.
All right, next question. Hi bro, just wondering what are all the legal options if I want to retire and stay long term in Malaysia? What other visa routes or residency programs are available? Is there such as through property purchase to get residency here?
Yeah, there's this thing called MM2H. Right. So MM2H allows you to stay in Malaysia long term. You know, minimum 10 years. Right. You can even buy your way to, in a way, get a somewhat citizenship today in Malaysia. That's the highest tier of MM2H. Also allows you to own property. But my only, in a way, advice here is that as a foreigner, don't own anything in Selangor. Penang, KL, Johor remains your safest bet due to the lower minimum threshold as a foreigner. Johor, I think as of today, 600,000 so you can own. Penang 1 million, which is still okay for tier 1. KL only buy tier 1, and all tier 1 property in KL also above 1 million.
I think what he's trying to say, what Faizul is trying to say here is, don't buy properties sold to expat specifically, right? So if you buy Selangor property at 2 million, then no locals are going to buy 2 million Selangor properties. But the market price for Kuala Lumpur properties, Johor, Penang is already at the threshold. So you are not overpaying just because you are an expat. You are paying prices that we are buying as locals. So that's why it's safer in that way.
Yeah.
Just to, because Faizul talk too fast.
Hey, but have you heard the news, Sean?
About you buying RM? No, like.
No. Property related. The only high-rise transacted above 10 million outside of KLCC.
The only building.
Condominium outside of KLCC area transacted above 10 million ringgit.
I don't know.
Desa Park.
Oh, the Park Region, that one?
Yes.
Oh, I thought long time already.
I thought it was this one only. Came up.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Shock of my life. 10 million for a condo.
But that
So-
one is a 3,600 square feet one, I think.
Yeah, close to about 4,000. But
If
if people are wondering, right, who buys all these condos? It's PRCs, guys. Non-locals. They buy all these big size condos. Now you know why Sean wants to buy the larger size unit in KLCC.
Ayo, you see, now terbongkar already. Yep. Yeah, that one. Desa Park City is on a total different phenomenon altogether lah.
No comparison, just like KLCC.
Right.
Yeah.
Who needs job opportunities?
Don't need.
Don't need MRT, don't need LRT, don't need nothing.
Nah.
You just need the lake only.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So moving on to the next question from Shan Lina. So can you elaborate a bit on comparison between All Asian Capital City Centre with KL, in bracket KLCC? Besides the name, why are we taking the centre to be KLCC instead of, say, Bukit Bintang, TRX, KL Central, etc.?
I think because of the landmark. Right. So if you're talking about the most well-known building in Malaysia, it's still the Petronas Twin Towers. I think that's the simplest way I can explain it. You have anything to add, Sean?
I think it's because it's tied to Petronas as a company. who is the main savior for all Malaysians.
Mm.
So for petrol, so last time, like the entire LRT that was tied to, last time LRT got two lines. One is the Kelana Jaya line, one is the
Star and Putra lah.
Star and Putra lor. So
Mm.
why Star considered the secondary line? Because it's not connected to KLCC. And because it's not connected to KLCC, so if you look into stations like Wangsa Maju, when Petronas not doing well, rental in Wangsa Maju drop one. Right? So who will stay Wangsa Maju last time, not now, last time, right? 10 years ago. It's all because of people working in KLCC. And why KLCC is because Petronas is there, and all the supporting trades and services must be within a certain distance away from the HQ to be more CSR friendly lah. That's why ESG friendly as well. So that is the main driving force. Yeah, ultimately, when you have people being well paid, they can afford better rent, therefore the rental there becomes more higher lah. Until when you now have more international trades going on, like Desa Bak City, like it's a whole different consideration altogether. Like Bangsa South, you go in, it's still very, it's considered awesome already, Bangsa South, but it's a very different, I would say, pace altogether. If you got nothing to do, you go to the makan place, what is it called? Oval. You go to Oval and just hang out versus you go to KLCC and hang out. The pace of walking is different one. Then you go to KL Eco City and you go to KL Central, the pace of walking is also very different. I don't have actual measurements. I'm not as crazy like that yet because people will sue me taking pictures, right? But so I think that is the main observation I realized. Because technically, if not, KL Central would be a main location booster also. But KL Central, like, only all the properties around, right? Like, not doing very well. Technically, it should be the best. If that is your logic, lah. Right? But it's not. It needs certain level of flair. I now sound like a designer. So I think Twin Towers brought us, and I think because of that, Malaysia got the 3 highest tower in the world now. PNB 118, not enough. Still got one more. What is it? There's building there's the 3rd place one, right? Yeah, shit, I forgot already. Yeah, we are so obsessed with high towers. The whole world, right? Only like Malaysia is competing for the highest tower all the time. Like, why? But Twin Towers is the highest Twin Towers so far still.
I mean, the TRX tower is now taller than Twin Towers. No one gives a shit about it.
But it's not twin, ma?
Correct? Because it's not Twin Towers, right? So if you are asking why KLCC is the most recognizable building out of Malaysia.
Yep. That's why a picture of it also now 600.
Yeah, Twin Jagung.
You want to take picture with it, then you have a con man at the roadside charging you 600 just to take picture with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that answers that, because a lot of not everything is number driven. Most of the things are emotional driven, then numbers justified. Right?
All right, next question is from RS Chong. What is the exit strategy for KLCC properties given low sub-sales transactions?
Like I mentioned just now, buy new, right? Hopefully not at a high price point. Buy new, buy branded residence if possible, below is median, right? And enjoy your rental for the next 3, 5, 7 years. But I think 7 years is the optimal time to exit. Unless we got HSR story. Then 1/10 of Singaporean then begin to see, you know what, I might as well retire in Malaysia. Everything is half the price to retire in Malaysia, even if I stay in KLCC. Because if you think about it, if I retire, let's say I'm a Singaporean, I retire in KLCC area, everything is half price, and for me to go back to go see my children or my grandchildren, I'm just 1 hour away. It makes a lot of sense. And KLCC area is a familiar thing to Singaporean. Everything can walk, it's quite safe, LRT, MRT nearby, a lot of malls, jalan kaki sikit, Langgar Mall, right? So that's what KLCC has, right? Very familiar to Singapore, right? So unless the high-speed rail happen, then I would say the 7 years maximum you hold. If the high-speed rail were to happen, then I think, we will analyze the impact differently. We think KLCC becomes a proper Singapore retirement village.
But that is also based on the assumption you are buying a short-term stay focused project lah. If you buy mainly for Airbnb, one that would be the exit strategy lor. Because the weird thing is everybody wants to sell. Okay, by technical, you should sell at the highest point. But the emotional side doesn't want you to do that. When your installment is 4,000, but your Airbnb returns is 18,000, you want to tell the whole world, hey, I'm earning 18,000, and you don't want to let go on. Until the next 5,000, 8,000 units being completed, now everyone is getting about 4,000, 5,000 a month. Then only you want to let go. Bro, nobody's going to buy your unit now. Because there's another 10,000 other units that is better. So why yours? That is the justification. Also, from a maintenance point of view, 7 years later, it's old. Would you want to stay in an old hotel? Unless it's part of the selling point lah. So that's why branded that is recommended by Fund Capital will be the better choice, because no matter how many hotels, 1 Four Seasons only. And that seems to be the brand's power. Like they have their own selection of customer. No matter what I go now, I think in my future, my kid, because he's like 4 years old, he's been to 8 Shangri-Las already. So he can smell the hotel already by now. He don't know it yet so thanks to his father But that's my point. So that will be the level of the residents. And when we look at why branded so good, right? Like for Banyan, I just visited Banyan in Johor. They have a group of buyers just because in Batam got one, they buy one in Johor. They didn't even look at the project because they believe the brand that comes with it. Yeah, very weird as a number-driven person. Like, Banyan even famous, man? I didn't know I didn't know, okay? But that seems to be the gameplay.
All right, moving on to the next question. Sorry if this is off topic from KLCC, but as a Malaysian working in Singapore, I keep seeing JB projects market as guaranteed rental return, especially with the RTS link coming. But prices are hitting 1,003 per square feet and above. Do you think JB still has room to grow in terms of capital or rental returns?
It all depends on your price, right? You enter at the right price point, you're going to make money. You enter the wrong price point, you are going to be stuck, right? So if you watch our session last week, actually, we spoke about Johor. How many suppliers are there? How many transactions above 1,000 ringgit per square foot as of today? And it's less than 1%. Right? So what do we like Johor? We love Johor. But we're not buying at 1,000 per square foot. We're buying at below 500 ringgit per square foot. So we want to play a game whereby doesn't matter whether the market good or bad, we still win. Right? So that's the game that you all should play. Right? So why attend a session like this? Now, this is not, none of us here is entertaining. We're not even good looking. We have a session of probably LB. Right? So
luckily you put that.
Yeah, right.
Sedihnya. Kena kerja, kena kecam lagi.
Right? So why spend 3 hours, right, on your Sunday night with this? simply because you want to have some level of data and competitive advantage. You will know more than most people out there who's buying, right? So you already know in KLCC, if you pay, let's say 1,005 and below for a non-branded residence, you're actually quite safe. Very safe, in fact, because a lot of people are paying 1,008, 2,000, right? But when you can do the things that we are doing, which is we buy branded at 1,005 and below, when people are happy to pay 2,000, fully sold out within 2 months, 3 months, right? So you know you're not going to lose, right? So at the end of the day, it all depends. Purchase price, what is your USP, right? How can you say my property is unique, right? So you either have the best facilities, best location, or best price. Itu saja. These three saja. You pergi patah balik macam mana pun, you go back to these three. Long term ke, short term ke, medium term rental ke, you still go back to these three. Do you have a price advantage, right? Do you have a facilities advantage, or do you have a location advantage? Look at tonight. Sofitel is expensive. But why did it become a consideration? Because for branded residents, it's not expensive. That location, well, there's only that location, right? And you've got the facilities and the infrastructure to match. You've got mall, you've got rooftop pool, you've got one of the best facilities in there, and you've got branded residents. And because of that, how many developers can come in, build something similar and still sell below 3,000 ringgit per square foot? I don't think so. Clubhouse, Holson, simpler products compared to Sofitel, today is selling similar price point or even more. See, I'm not even paid by Sofitel. We don't even market that project, right? We don't even do any deal there, but we have to be objective. You have to buy things whereby you have a competitive advantage. All right, you got an unfair advantage, right? So timing is something that a lot of people can get right, can also get it wrong, right? So that one can also be a competitive advantage, but you need to be ahead of data, insights, and foresights, right? If you want to get the timing to be correct. Okay, so you cannot control a lot of things, cannot control how many numbers supply coming up. The only thing you can control, how much you enter and you purchase, what is the rental strategy you're going to do. These two saja in property. That will determine your outcome. Is Bukit Bintang competitive? Yes, a lot. But we bought at 50% discount, we paid 1,002. No one is buying cheaper. So everyone is happy to get 6%, we are getting 9%. I've got client getting 9% and complaining. Why? Because another client getting 11. So we have a happy problem. Okay?
But something to add on will be that extra transition because you are cultured in the Singapore matter lah. Everything that is announced in your news portal is verified and checked, right? That's why I'm very surprised that there's a sinkhole. Apparently, it's not a KL problem only. It's a Singapore problem also. For those who last time whack out our project in KL because got sinkhole, the whole KL cannot buy. Right, someone got experts come and clarify what a joke, man. Yeah, so all I'm saying is when you come to Malaysia, try to understand how we do things here, like buying properties. It's not like in Singapore where you need to line up to buy a 2,005 per square feet project and sold out one. Here it's done very differently. And here you gotta also understand there's a lot of channels of buying property. New, subsale, auction, and bulk purchase. So this is one of the channels. But yeah, you gotta know what you do first before getting convinced, because everyone else out there is saying things just to close you. What does GRR even mean? That's why I think there's a clip there within the comment section. I was too free just now, so I was having a sembang tepi at the chat there. That's why LB got so frustrated. Yeah, also you gotta understand how things are done here just to close your money. The fact is now we like forgot JB just recovered from a meltdown 4 years ago only. KLCC was 8 years ago only. Why we all pretend like it didn't happen like that? And this is my first time recovered from rebounding from a downturn. My very first time, luckily I managed to see lah. So it's very, very interesting. Everybody forget the worst dark ages when they want to buy one. But when they don't feel like buying, they say everything is expensive one. Yeah, very weird, humanity.
Okay, next.
All right, next question. What is your honest take on Malaysia's safety and healthcare? Coming from Singapore, where safety is never a concern, I'm genuinely worried about the security situation here. But I'm also drawn to Malaysia's healthcare system, which seems more accessible and affordable for retirement. For a Singaporean like me, is this a reasonable trade-off, or am I being overly cautious about the safety concerns?
I think it depends on where you go. Okay, if you go to Tier 1, your Bangsa, Mongkera, Desa Park City, I don't know if there's any incidents, right? Other than, accidents, people fall off, commit suicide and all that. So other than that, I don't know if there's any major incident involving a foreigner, right? So far, right? So I cannot comment much if you decided to go to Jinjang or Kampung Sungai Way and stay next to a bunch of Indonesians. That one I cannot do much, right? So there are areas that you can go to whereby everyone is like you, which is part of the international community, and you feel very much at home, right? And there's going to be areas that you shouldn't, I guess, go, because it doesn't make sense. There's nothing in it for you there, right? So if you stick to Tier 1 Kuala Lumpur, you're going to be fine, right? Healthcare wise, I think we are probably 90% there versus what Singapore has got to offer, but at half or 1/3 of the price. So I think we are now voted as one of the cheapest countries in the world to get good healthcare, right? So I think doctors are pretty good, right? Doctors are pretty good. Look, you guys also import a lot of doctors coming out of Malaysia too, right? So it's a testament that our doctors are not so bad. And again, our private hospitals are doing not too bad. Your KPJ group is fairly professionals today. Our hospitals are looking like a good 4.5, 5-star hotel lobby. If you go to places like Prince Court, where KLCC is, it makes a lot of sense. It doesn't feel like a hospital at all, right? It's very nice, right? And it's hardly expensive, right? It's still reasonable. The government looks after costs. Doctors are not making a killing. Very rarely you see a doctor driving a Ferrari in Malaysia. You can see them in Singapore. But here tak ada. Unless you own hospitals or chain of clinics. They drive 5 Series, right? They don't drive 7 Series though, right? Unlike the ones in Singapore. So I think from a cost point of view, our doctors are being, in a way, controlled from overcharging. All right, so I think we have something good going on here. We've got the right balance. Again, this is not saying Singapore is doing it worse or not, but I mean, if you compare to the cost, I think we're just winning as far as medical is concerned.
All right, next question.
Worst case scenario, you fly 1 hour. Right, so that's your worst case scenario. Fly 1 hour, come back, Singapore, get your treatment.
But okay, so when I was Singapore, then I said Singapore was beautiful. Everyone asked me to go and look at Yishun. So Yishun is something like our clang. Then you speak to a clang boy. Clang Yishun is like clang. I say okay, right? So I think it's personal belief system, personal stories. So that's why now Desa Park City is like a bird park lah, because all Singaporeans are there. everything also cheap, 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 cheap. You listen to whatever the whole street cheap, 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 man. Kenny Hills, I need to line up, mama no people, man. So all my Singapore friends who migrate over are all in the Sabah City. It feels like second Singapore. That's why they sold 10,000 per unit. Yeah, so it depends on where you are lah. Of course, you want cheap, you want nice, you want very safe, you want very peaceful, then maybe build yourself also don't have lah. But our highest price property is nothing compared to the HDB still. So that's my little comment. But you love our food, definitely. Bye.
Okay, right. Next question is from Shanlina. So since below 700 square feet, will have overwhelming supply, what is the outlook of larger unit like 1,000 square feet?
Now 1,000 square feet is large already.
I mean, it's rare lah. Data is very clear. I cannot recall of any development building a nice 2-bedroom 1,100 square foot in KLCC. Macam tak ada je. Ada ke Zach? Ada ke LB? I don't recall any.
Now roughly 600, 700 lah.
Yeah, so everything is like dual key.
Yeah.
1 bedroom 600-700 ada lah, right? So I think those units are gonna be rare. So again, but then again, KLCC is not a favorite for locals. Right? Very few locals aspire to stay in KLCC like Sean. Right? I'm not sure. That depends on my marital status moving forward, whether I stay in KLCC or not. But you know, I don't have a dream of staying in KLCC. I have a dream of having like a satellite home lah. Kan kena marah dengan my future wife kan, pergi merajuk kita tinggal kat KLCC, tengok Twin Tower sambil bergalau dengar tu music, sad music maybe. Right? But probably in the maximum 2-bedroom or maybe a nice duplex.
Crazy. Now we are talking about 600. 1,000 square feet is large now.
But actually, the reality for KLCC, those big old condo that's big is like 1,008, 2,000, 2,005, 3,000, 4,000 square feet. That's the actual big. That is really, really big. Yeah. Not today, the 1,000. Yeah.
I can't believe I'm alive to look at this phenomenon though. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's all a trend lah. It's all a cycle.
And their studio is getting smaller.
Yeah.
From 400 plus to 200 plus square feet.
And sometimes you think about how they built, right? It's as if we got no more land. You get what I mean? So, bro, it's 20 minutes away. You get half price of everything, like double the size, half the price. So much more value, but that is the mindset of a tourist versus a local. Like okay, I don't like traveling, but if you go travel, right? If you let's say we go to Bangkok, right? We don't know which street is the best. So we just bantai lah. So everybody will always choose the safe. Then everybody will just go KLCC lah. So I guess that's the rationale lah.
It's gonna come back lah. KLCC lah, Mont Kiara, Bangsa, still the same things. Desa Park, but Desa Park is running out of land.
That's why they now fighting about the school the office tower next to the school then they asked me, dear Sean, can you use your prestigious platform to help us? Walao YouTuber ni bro.
But sorry, to help them with what?
To share out the message, we need to take care of the kids.
Oh.
But I actually cite the developer more. You forget I'm a developer trained. That's why I just keep quiet lah. Okay, I didn't say anything.
Okay, all right. Moving on to the next question from Chinpo. So how does the new OPR affect the buying of new or sub property?
The economy is slowing down. which is why central bank decided to drop OPR. We also think that Trump is going to pursue a massive rate cut in the next 12 months. He's already talking about a 300 basis point rate cut in a single day, right? So when that happens, you're going to see a possibility of interest rate. Mortgage rate today, a couple of months ago, is about 4% average. Today is about 3.6, 3.7, 3.8 average. If a 300 basis point rate cut happens by US, most likely Singapore then follow, then Malaysia also have to follow, right? So, which brings us to a very interesting time that whereby mortgage will most likely be below 3%. Similar to waktu COVID, right? When that happens, then I think the inevitable will happen. You're going to have a mega property bull run. Everything that you see will most likely go up by 50 to 100%. Right? So, if you are following the masses, right, you're not going to buy anything because of fear, right? Fear of a global economy not doing well, wars, you know. Dulu Israel dengan Iran jauh, now shit, we have neighbors, right, throwing rockets at each other, shit, are we gonna kena? Is it next Malaysia and Singapore because of food again, right? So I don't think it's gonna happen. We're a lot more sensible, right? But if you're gonna look at reasons not to buy, you're gonna find 1,000. But I can tell you one reason only for you to buy. Interest rate will come down, that will lead to the next property bull run, like a major one, right? Guys, because at 2.7% interest rate, every property in KLCC that is negative cash flow today become positive cash flow. If people are already buying at 4% interest rate, 4% rental yield, negative cash flow, so they buy, what happens when every property becomes positive cash flow? You think they don't buy, man? But when you want to buy at that point of time, it's too late. Because then you pay 30, 40, 50% higher. Right? So in order to make shitloads amount of money, you have to be, in a way, going against the grain. And the grain today is that don't buy anything, don't commit to anything, don't do anything, any major move. You do that, you be safe. You follow like everyone else. You're gonna get what everyone else is getting. But you know, you're not gonna own a Patek Philippe like Sean.
Hey, let's not go there.
I use Sean as your motivation. I'm not motivating enough.
My take is slightly different. My take is just because it's 2.75, will the market go berserk? No. But at least we get the direction right. Means inflation is where businesses are not making money, so we need to make money as a nation. That's why they drop interest. That's why market starts rolling a little bit. But do you buy when it's super, or do you buy when it's on the right direction? Because for us, we bought during COVID. Like I personally, I load up the most during COVID. It was the worst time ever. Worst. You don't know whether you will survive or not as a person. Right? So now, yeah, also it's to me, it's a direction towards a bull run rather than how much the bull run will be. We don't know, but definitely we want just that high or low. That's it. But whether you like it or not, right? The whole world is now talking about inflation. We complain food price go up lah, petrol price go up lah, electricity go up lah, but property price won't go up, man. That's the funniest thing ever. But also being said, you don't go chincai, so I go buy property at stupid price lah. That is also the other extreme that we are trying to take care of lah. So, yeah lah.
Put it this way, the best time to buy in Johor was 2020.
Dark
Interest
age.
rate drop, you got a recession, borders is closed, there's no rental market. But that was the time we bought at 300 ringgit per square foot in Lakin. Right? So you try to buy the price again today, cannot. Only launch is 700. So you have to buy when there's maximum fear. Not when everyone is talking how great property is or how great this area is. Like today, RTS. Everyone is talking about it. You miss the boat. We miss the boat. Next.
All right. Next question is from Sean Chun. So the news mentioned that the property bubble is increasing in Malaysia. What point of view of you guys towards this?
Who said this? The JLL one.
I think he's only talking about Johor, right?
That's the JLL one.
Yeah lah. So I think that news of property bubble is not happening anywhere other than Johor.
RTS.
Yeah, nearby RTS. It's not
Hey,
wrong.
but we called it,
Yeah. I mean, it's not wrong. We've been saying this for months now that the supply around RTS is already more than 10,000 units. Now it's closer to 20,000. Supply within 10-kilometer radius to RTS is now closer to 100,000. So there will be a lot of supply lah. Will it be oversupply? I don't know. Simply because I don't know what's the Singapore reaction towards RTS. Because if you think about it, there's close to 4 million people in Singapore, right? Probably about 2+ million household. 5% migrate to Johor because of RTS. We don't have an oversupply anymore. All right, so it depends. We tell it as it is lah. Supply is plenty. You make sure you cover your ass by buying at the right price lah. Itu saja lah. Right? At the right location, right price, right USP, right? So what is so unique, right? USP like branded resident makes it unique lah. Very hard for people to compete lah. You buy cheap, you are the cheapest owner there lah. So before you die, everyone else has to die first, right? So that's the whole idea of buying cheap. Or you buy the unique location, right? That no one else has got access to. So yeah, oversupply will happen in KLCC. Oversupply will happen in Johor. Oversupply will happen in RTS. But it does not mean that everyone will lose money. Right?
All right. Next question is from Lionel. So do you think HSR will reduce the property demand for JB, as Singaporean may refer to retire in KLCC compared to JB? Or KL and JB will prosper together from HSR?
HSR doesn't benefit JB. HSR benefits Melaka,
Muar.
benefits Putrajaya. HSR benefits Kuala Lumpur. HSR does not benefit JB. RTS benefits JB. HSR might benefit Forest City, right? Because one station, but does not benefit JB at all. Because JB and Forest City very far away, like very, very far. Right? So I don't think so. I don't think it's competing. And JB is not KL. JB is certainly not KLCC. It will never be KLCC too. Right? So I think it's meant for different infrastructure, meant for different things. I don't think the HSR will impact JB in a manner that people think it's gonna be lah. But if it pass by Forest City and there's gonna be a station there, it's gonna help save Forest City.
All right, so we have one last question here from Dave. As a Singaporean retire plan, why I choose KL than JB, as JB is nearer? So any suggestion or comparison?
If you want a lifestyle, in my opinion lah, I don't know what Sean thinks about this. If you want a lifestyle similar to what you have in Singapore, it's KL. All right, English speaking, familiar eateries, a lot of places that you can walk safely. You can't do that shit in Johor. You cannot even walk to RTS to Dangabi, it's too far. And there's no
Far,
station, right?
damn far.
Yeah. So I also don't know whether you kena langgar 3 kali kot sebelum sampai ke Danggabi. It's that far lah basically. And it's not that safe for you to walk. So again, it's very different. But KLCC is very familiar for Singaporeans. A lot of covered walkway, air-conditioned walkway, MRT, right left center, multiple malls. Is very familiar. Then you've got one nice 5-star hospital in that city center called Prince Court. So as a retiree, I think retiring in KLCC makes a lot of sense.
That they are not only KLCC lah, like also like Sunway also not too bad. There's a Buck City not too bad. A lot of like PG also not too bad. Certain lah, see which section lah. Then Damansara also not too bad. A lot of other choices. I think the main difference is just we forget JB is an old town with a 60, 70-year-old infrastructure. And then all buildings look old one. And that's why I think we mentioned this in the last episode also. Like, I realized you guys cut me in as an ad. I didn't know, which is so weird. Yeah, also like that's why I'm very surprised that when we pay 1,003, how many percent goes to infrastructure? Not like very minimal, but in KL, like a major portion of that 1,003 goes to infrastructure. So that is the main difference, like the connectivity to walkways is a luxury in JB. We cut off Medini, we cut off Eco Botanic, the newcomers in township, that one totally. Then what other townships we have in JB? No more. All are just pocket lands built within whatever infrastructure that is there. That's why roads can never be expanded. So if we, like, to me, as KL Fleur, JB is more packed with highways compared to KL. Everywhere highway one, everywhere elevated car park, elevated highway one. So that's my point of view. I suggest to come to the second Singapore, which is Sabak City, and check it out first. You can just stay. I don't think there's an Airbnb in Sabak City. Don't have, huh? Everybody anti Airbnb, am I right?
Too much money. No need.
Yeah, so I would suggest you just come and drive around Sabak City. You will feel the instant difference. That is something I also wish a lot of people who are just FOMO about RTS right now, right? Be very mindful you are just FOMO because of the performance of sales, innit? Nothing much, right? Like from a quality of product wise, nothing too great one. It's just the location, innit? That one cannot beat one, right? Maybe until Sunway comes out with something, but now they also in hot soup. So yeah, to me, I would encourage everybody to come KL without a heartbeat. Like, I stayed in JB for 4 years, 5 years. Don't even need to think, no need to discuss. I'd rather fly 1 hour, 2 hours compared to go through the Smiley bus 1-2 hours. Flying is almost I will fly.
I think today there's a debate because there's no HSR. The moment HSR is here, there's no debate. It's KL.
Yeah.
Well, no debate. Nothing to debate. It will take you the same amount of time to cross Singapore from JB.
Yeah.
But with far more superior and familiar infrastructure. That's what I would think. Without HSR is probably a consideration for you. With HSR, it is a no-brainer, it's a no contest. It's KLCC all the way. And like what Sean is saying, go to Desa Park City, visit KLCC, visit TRX. Try to walk from KLCC all the way to Pavilion Bukit Bintang. It's a lot more pleasant. I would say it's very happening. It's very happening.
The only difference will be in terms of hygiene and noise, because Malaysians a lot of cars. Singapore, no cars. Yeah, so I think that's the only difference actually.
Mm.
Our watches are also cheaper, so come here and buy.
Really?
Yeah, Malaysian Rolex is cheaper by 8%.
Oh,
80,
retail.
80 to 8, of course lah, 80 to 80 lah.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Oh,
you thought, oh no, it's the grey market international one mah.
okay. All right.
All right.
I
That's
think we covered all the
all.
questions, right?
Yes, we answer all the question.
Okay, guys. I hope you find today's session useful. We've managed to complete this in 3 hours. Still 1 hour ahead of time, extra than what we originally anticipated, right? But yeah, it is what it is. That's I guess that's the price that we pay to educate lah. With that, like I said, I hope you have a great week ahead. And again, for those who are interested to buy the best possible property you can buy in Malaysia, in KLCC, do consider becoming part of the FAR Capital community. Again, it costs you less than RM1.10 per day to become one. WhatsApp us if you are keen to find out more. And for those who have decided to become a client, you're going to get to buy the cheapest possible property you can buy in KLCC, especially branded residence. For that one, only FAR Capital client can buy. Right? So with that, have a great weekend. A great week ahead, everyone. And for the panelists, thank you so much, guys, for your time and your wisdom tonight. See you guys in the next Battle Royale. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye bye. Good night, everyone.